Hey everyone, what is up? Welcome back to Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works. We had another crazy episode last time. Most of the episodes have been crazy, but we lost Saber last episode, right? So, I had to get back to the game, see what the heck is going on, how we're gonna get through this, because Saber being gone obviously means we don't have our servant. We also don't have our healing abilities anymore. That's a big deal. I'm interested in seeing what we're gonna do. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Oh, right in an interlude. The stone room is illuminated by the morning sun. The light coming in from the ceiling pushes back the darkness. Every entrance and every window is sealed off, but even that cannot block out the sunlight. Even the place that should be covered in darkness benefits from the break of dawn. Entrances and windows are ordinarily used to let things enter and leave. The cracks cannot be covered, and besides, if it is entirely closed off, it cannot fulfill its duty to be used as a passage. If one wants to completely shut out the light, there should not be any entrances. If one prefers darkness, one should go to an underground place without a way to return. In that regard, this underground temple is not perfect. Light exposes all secrets without reservation. The hidden temple was easily discovered, and its master was easily eliminated as well. What? Did they just kill Kira? There are traces of blood on the floor. The original owner of this temple was killed by an intruder. The supervisor of the Holy Grail War, Kodamine Kire, was removed from the stage by Caster's hand. Oh man. Okay, so he's not coming into play at all, and I suppose that means Lancer's gone now. Unless Caster took him too. God, if Caster took Lancer too. That battle happened a few hours ago. The underground regained its silence. The new master of the church is standing in the darkness. But the winner scorns herself. Caster glares at the darkness with an irritated look. First of all, this temple is unpleasant. Neither the sanctuary nor the secret sanctuary hidden beneath it suit her taste. The intruding light is unpleasant, and the priest she killed was unpleasant as well. And most importantly, the crucial objective has not been accomplished yet. She's shocked at how poorly things are going. She even considers reducing this whole place to ashes. What is going on with Saber? Like, the constant flashes to her. Fortunately, she refrains from such violence. It is not because she regained her composure, nor is it because of respect towards the church. She suppressed her emotion only because of this sound. Faint, periodic sounds. A woman's painful voice is like fine music to her. She forgets her troubles and enjoys the spectacle. What is going on here? The groaning sounds of pains come from a girl. The weak murmur contains heated arousal. The groan would inspire either compassion or sadistic pleasure in those who may hear them. It does not need to be said that she falls under the latter category. Sweat drips down her forehead. Just watching the beautiful lips, gasping in shame, seem to bring heat to this cold room.
大したものね、セイバー。レイジの縛りを一晩中拒み続けるなんて、私たちでは考えられないわ。
She's really fighting. She does not want to be fully taken control of by Caster. Can't say I blame her, but... What is this? Yikes. This is... Ugh. Why? Why is she dressed like that? At the back of the temple, the girl hangs, only able to moan. As long as she opposes the command spell, free will does not exist for Saber. Worse still, a magic so strong that it is visible tortures Saber's body. The command spell pressures her from the inside and Caster's magic tortures her from the outside. The torture is more unbearable than having her body wounded. Saber's reasoning has almost disappeared. Only the last remnants of her pride hold her back. Neither the command spell nor Caster's magic can take away that deep root. Therefore, the torture continues forever. Caster watches the process, how the girl desperately tries to hold her ground. It was Caster that dressed her in this white costume. It is not arousing with her armor, and most of all, the armor does not suit her. Oh, jeez. Jesus, man. She is an untainted virgin. She should be in a pure white dress when she falls.
けなげなこと。いくらあなたの意志が拒み続けても、サーバントとして作られたその体は別よ。霊樹が少しずつ侵食しているのがわかるでしょ。あなたはあと一日も経たずに私のものになる。ならもう降参して素直になった方が楽じゃなくて？
The voice protests painfully. Even though her reasoning is melted, Saber does not yield to Caster. As Caster says, she will endure this torture until the command spell fully controls her body.
強情ね、セイバー。ええ、けど許してあげる。私、あなたみたいな娘は好きよ。金の髪も小さな体も少年のような凛々しさも可愛いわ。それに裏切るぐらいなら死を選ぶ一途さも愛らしい。ほんと踏み潰してあげたいぐらい。
What the heck? I don't even know what to say. This whole thing has me like dumbfounded. She looks at the girl with eyes filled with joy and hatred. If Caster puts her mind to it, she could get Saber to surrender in an instant. Saber's freedom is lost from fighting one command spell. Then the result is obvious if Caster uses a second command spell. Saber will become Caster's without the need for such torture. But she will not do such an inelegant thing. Caster should take time training her, since she is a lovely toy. For Caster, Saber is a tool with first-class appearance and ability. It is natural for her to savor this rare jewel.
そうね。霊樹で体を支配するなんて退屈ですもの。あなたには自分から私のサーバントになってもらいましょう。ええ。体ではなく、先に心を壊してあげる。
Caster glares with bewitching eyes at the girl in the white dress. She almost forgets about the Holy Grail. She thinks about Saber's white skin and imagines transforming her into a slave that only seeks pleasure. She will make the girl into a tainted slave to her lusts. She will not do something crude like taking her virginity. She is a virgin, and she shall make her into a virgin that drowns in pleasure. A girl whose body will never be satisfied, greedily seeking pleasure. When she imagines it and smiles,
そこで何をしている、キャスター。
an unemotional voice suddenly calls her from behind. She turns around immediately. Above the temple, someone slowly comes down the stairs that lead outside. A tall, lean figure appears from the darkness. You know, I don't want to get my hopes up for Kazuki to actually do something about this. That'd be nice, but that's seeing Saber like that, it's uncomfortable, man. It's like disconcerting. I hate to see that. Sheesh. There is no sound of footsteps, nor is there any presence to be felt. The man comes down into the temple and shows no emotion even after seeing the blood on the ground and the girl.
Soichiro-sama.
Caster changes her attitude right away. Her expression changes from one filled with joy and irritation to that of a tense servant.
なぜここに？あなたには竜道寺にいるようお願いしたはずですが。
質問は私が先だ、キャスター。ここで何をしていると聞いたのだが。
The man, Kazuki Soichiro, does not change the tone of his voice. The flat voice is more terrifying than any threat. A voice without emotion is like a mirror, a guilty conscience. The voice is more oh my goodness. The voice is more fearful to those with greater guilt. One is questioned not by Kazuki, but by one's own mind. Caster holds her hands on her chest and reports to Kazuki. He's not one that can be fooled. No, she cannot bear to tell a lie to this person.
昨日、マスターの一人であるエミヤ・シローからサーバントを奪いました。エミヤ・シローは逃しましたが、すでにマスターではありません。賢明な人間ならば、私たちに歯向かうことはないでしょう。
Shiro in no way has that kind of self-preservation. Believe me, he's not done.
そうか。だがそんな指示を下してはいない。
私の独断です、マスター。その後、聖杯の器を手に入れるために教会を襲いました。聖杯の管理役である神父は仕留めましたが、聖杯の行方は不明です。
Them defeating Ryder really is what got him killed. Kirei, because if he still had Gilgamesh, there's a very good chance that, at the very least, Caster is repelled by Gilgamesh.
そちらも独断か。帰還しなかったのは聖杯が見つからなかったからだな。確かにせっかく手に入れた場所だ。肝心のものを手に入れないまま留守にしては意味がない。
Kazuki's words are not criticizing her, but Caster can only be ashamed of herself. She killed the priest who knew where the Holy Grail was, but she still does not have the Holy Grail. Furthermore, she has revealed her own action, which should have been hidden from him. What else can she call it but a total failure?
状況は分かった。理由を説明できるか、キャスタ
ー。申し訳ありません。ですがこれもすべてマスターのため。私の目的はあなたを勝利させることだけです。理由などそれ以外にはありません。
A long silence. After hearing Caster's declaration, Kazuki Soichiro murmurs, I see.
ではここから離れるわけにはいかんな。留守中、他のマスターに聖杯を見つけられては、お前の苦労も無駄になる。
では、マスター。
納得のいくまで調べるがいい。それまでは私もここに残ろう。お前一人では戦いに向かん。セーバーが手駒になるまで護衛は必要だろう。
Yep, and he can box servants. He's a fitting guard.
いえ、それには及びません。マスターに力を借りずとも手駒はありますし、聖杯の探索とてどれほどかかるか。
But as a servant, that's got to be kind of embarrassing, right? Your master straight up saying, you need a guard. I'm going to wait here and guard you.
それにここは危険です。竜道寺に戻られた方があなたの身は安全です。
正論だ。だがそれでは私の目的が果たせなくなる。
Those words are unexpected even for Caster. What kind of an objective does this man have, who has no interest even in the Holy Grail, which can grant any wish?
宗一郎様、それは。
急げよ。なければないでいい。成果は問わん。 結果だけを出すがいい。
With that, Kazuki goes back up the stairs. Caster watches him go in blank amazement. The dark room is still silent. The footsteps going up the stairs still cannot be heard. That sure was a scene. That made me, all the yawning, man. No reason for it. Seeing Saber like that was uncomfortable. Jesus. I really hope we do something to somehow help her before she's fully, like, under Caster's control, because I do not want to see her fully under Caster's control. Horrifying. I open my eyes. My eyes are not the only thing that wake up, as my sleeping mind wakes up as well. Why is my phone... Stop. Yeah. There we go. Okay, I think it's muted now.
傷は問題ないな。
I check the wound on my left shoulder. It still hurts, but there's no intense pain like last night. The heat of my body has gone away somewhat. It shouldn't be a problem for me to move around. I eat breakfast and satisfy my hunger. Food comes before anything else. My body won't move unless it gets the nutrition it needs. I reapply the bandage. The wound has turned dark blue. Oh, that's lovely. It hasn't healed up, and I can see the fresh red meat.
当然だ。今、セイバーはいないんだから。
Yeah. I disinfect it, put gauze over it, and wrap bandages around it. It's a primitive first aid treatment to wrap and constrict the wound, but I have to do this so it won't get any worse.
よし、これで終わり。あとは武器がいるな。
Yeah. No kidding. It's cloudy today. It must be really cold, as there's frost on the grass outside. But that's meaningless to me. I feel no cold. My body is burning, and I want to pour ice water over myself. But this is much better than the condition I was in last night. Yeah, and you still somehow managed to go all the way to, like, the city. Climb to the top of a skyscraper, and then return. The only things I can find are wooden swords. I choose the one that looks like it is the best and put it into my shinai bag. I slap my cheeks. I don't know if it's to encourage myself or to reassure myself that I won't be coming back here. I honestly don't know why I did that. I carry the shinai bag over my right shoulder and head outside. Bro just slapped his cheeks and said, yeah, why the heck did I do that? The place I've lived at for so long. The shed was like my own room, but I don't turn to look at it. Well, even though I've decided to fight, there are many problems. I have to determine clearly what I should do first, or I'll probably end up not getting anything done. There are two courses of action. Ooh. Well. That is going to get us killed, right? Meet with Tosaka or go to the church. I mean, meeting up with Tosaka seems like the logical choice. So I don't know if I can really go to the church for advice. I'm kind of interested in what would happen if we do that. Like, are we just going to get decimated? Are we going to realize that, like, is Caster still going to be there? If Caster's still there, then obviously we're done. We're getting smoked. If not, and we find like Kirai's body, why is my phone still vibrating? Okay. Anyways, sorry about that. If Castor is gone at this point, maybe we find Kirei's body, and that is, I don't know, maybe that's somehow significant plot-wise, but it doesn't feel very likely that they won't be there at this point, right? Kazuki and Castor would almost certainly still be there, right? Like, it's only been a few hours. So maybe we catch a really lucky break and they're not there anymore, but I kind of doubt it. Let's just try to meet up with Tosaka. Going to the church for advice seems like a potentially interesting choice, but it just doesn't seem like a very wise one. I feel like that leads to a bad end most of the time. Now, sometimes the things that seem like they'd lead to a bad end don't at all, but I'm just going to meet up with Tosaka. Seems like the safer choice. I'll go find Tosaka. She told me to forfeit. I'm going to ignore her advice and fight. I have to make her realize that I'm not going to give up and that we're still cooperating. And I can't let her fight by herself. I owe her big time. I can't forfeit until I repay her for that.
しかもあいつここ一番で失敗するし危なっかしくて一人になってさせておけない
Dang. I adjust the shinai bag on my shoulder. I know I won't be of much help, and that she will object, but I can't obtain peace of mind until I see Tosaka's face. This is just a what if. But if she gets injured away from me, I can't even be there to help her. Of all places, why are you here? You just had like an instinct to come here again, or? I sit down on a bench and rest my burning body. It's past noon. I've searched all around Shinto, but I haven't found anything.
くそ簡単にはいかないと思ったけどここまで無反応なんて
I knew from the start that I had no way to find Tosaka. I let my luck take over and searched through the town, but I couldn't find her, nor any traces of her.
他のマスターも出てこない令状がない以上ちょっかい出す必要もないってことか
I mean, in theory, yeah. Would Emiya still attack? It's possible. I mean, when you renounce your command spell in the Fate route, she still attacks you, so... I sigh and lay back. I'm making no progress like this. Tosaka hasn't left any trace. My last resort of using myself as bait to lure out other masters is failing so far. Oh my god. You were actually trying to use yourself as bait? It wasn't even an observation of, no one has come out. He was actually trying to make people hunt him. You have... I mean, I don't think this needs to be said, but you have zero sense of self-preservation. Or self-worth. Jesus, man. I get a bit uneasy. I might not be able to find Tosaka, and I might not be able to save Saber. I might already be in a terrible situation by the time I find them.
まだ昼だそう簡単に行くもんか
I get back up. I ignore the renewed throbbing in my shoulder and leave the park. I'll search one more time. I'm sure that she's in Shinto. It's just like last night. I don't know why, but I can feel that he is around here. It's not something ambiguous like a premonition. This is a certain knowledge, like a conviction. What, so now he feels Archer's location? Are you... Oh, another interlude. Jeez, there's been a lot of interludes. Although I suppose it makes sense. Oh. When did I figure out what the dream was? A desert as far as I can see. The numerous swords stuck in the ground did not have a wielder. Do not. The sky is stormy and there's no forest, town, or sea within my sight. A hill of blades stretching to infinity. A graveyard of steel without any wielder or bearer. I knew from the start that this is the scenery inside that hero's mind. Okay. After many sequences of events, one who becomes a heroic spirit ends up in that place. There are those who left the world loved by people, and there are those who left the world praised as noble kings. There are those who died wanting to fight, and there are those who died in satisfaction. But it seems there are many that have been praised as heroes against their will. If true heroes are those who have legitimately earned the title, these are a different kind. They were forced to the throne of heroes because of their fate, and they should be called Avenger, the anti-hero. They are the opposite of heroes, but they were praised as heroes regardless. Even those that hated humans, and those the humans hated are summoned as guardians. But he's neither. He's not a true hero, nor a rare anti-hero. He was never compensated for his efforts, and his own life ended with betrayal, but he never hated humans. But it didn't last. Yes, he probably grew wary. I was mistaken. Heroic spirits, familiars called servants. Humanity's power to control the... Oh my goodness. Humanity's power to control called the Guardians. They are summoned into every age to prevent humanity's extinction. But the only condition for their summoning is destruction brought on by humans. Naturally, destruction brought on by an outside factor is solved not by human power, but by the world's restraining power. So the only thing Guardian heroic spirits can see is self-destruction. They are an existence that eliminate destruction brought on by human greed. He made a contract with the world to save humans and became a hero. After he died, he became a heroic spirit and was shown humanity's self-destruction over and over again. He's summoned as a heroic spirit to save people, but he only gets to clean up after people's wrongdoings. It did not take long for him to realize that it is meaningless and start loathing the human world. Yeah, I can see that. It's making more and more sense why Archer is the way he is at this point. And in the end, he was betrayed by the ideal that he protected unto death.
Rin, どうした? 立ちくらみか?
Hearing the call, Tosaka Rin wakes up. She slowly looks around. This is the Foreigner Cemetery. Were we actually supposed to go to the church? Is that where we would have met up with Tosaka? Oops. It's just past 7 o'clock, but there's no one here. Well, the hill with the church is always empty to start with.
ごめん、寝てた。少し疲れてるみたい。
無理もない。昨夜から不眠だったからな。体調が優れないのならば見合わすか。何も今すぐ仕掛けることはない。
いいえ、時間はかけられない。キャスターの居場所が分かったんなら、ここで決着をつけるべきよ。
After saying so, Rin realizes that her body is warm. Her familiar, Archer, must have kept her warm using his cloak.
なんだ、寝てるって気がついてたんじゃないあなた。なのに起こさないなんて、人が悪いわね。
何？立ったまま眠る人間にはそうお目にかかれないのでね。
She was standing.
物珍しさでつい観察してしまった。
She must have been dead tired if she fell asleep while still standing.
ますますたちが悪い。女の子の寝顔を見るなんて何様よあんた。
安心したまえ。誓ってそのような無礼はしていない。だが別のものは聞いたな。目は閉じようと思えば閉じられるが、耳はそうはいかないのでな。
What did he hear?
そう。私何か言ってたあーちゃん。
Was it something to do with the dream we just saw?
ああ、気に食わないだの、頭に来るだの。実に物騒なささやきを数件。
なんだ、よかった。
Rin sighs with relief. The dream she saw should not be discussed. She can't have Archer know about it. She likes their relationship. To maintain it, she has to hide the fact that she knows about Archer's past.
行きましょうあーちゃん。教会なら少しは詳しいわ。あそこならどこに隠れているか見当ぐらいつく。
She really does not want him to know about those dreams. I guess I can see why, though. He brushes away Archer's cloak. Archer silently protects from behind her.
ねえあーちゃん。自分のやってきたことを後悔したことってある？
That's a sudden question. She asks without turning around.
私はできれば最後までしたくない。本当に打ちのめされた時にも歯を食いしばって意地を張り続けたい。けどそれって難しいんでしょうね。きっと私が考えている以上に。
Yeah, and then there's Shirou doing literally that.
個人差があるな、その手の精神論は。できる者もいればできない者もいる。とりわけ君は前者だ。その手の人間はまず過ちなど起こさないし、自らの過ちなど考えることもない。
何よ、それじゃあ私が傍若無人な暴君みたいじゃない。
いい自己認識だ、リン。
He didn't even deny it.
鮮やかな人間というものは人より眩しいものを言う。そういった手合いにはな、歯を食いしばる時などないのだ。で、試験だが、君は間違いなくその手合いだ。遠坂凛は最後まであっさりと自分の道を信じられる。
Interesting take. I mean, in this route, yeah, maybe that's true. We did kind of see her grit her teeth and fight like that in the Fate route, though. The knight in the red cloak praises her. Rin blushes at his answer, but keeps asking without turning around.
じゃああなたは最後まで自分が正しいって信じられる？
ん？いや、申し訳ないが、その質問は無意味だな。
Like you don't want to answer it.
どうしてよ。答えられないことじゃないでしょ、こんなの。
She sounds a bit nervous.
最後までという質問が無意味だ。忘れたのか、マスター。私の最後はとうの昔に終わっている。
That's true. The knight in red gives this reply. I wonder if that alone is part of why he's changed and is how he is now. Right, to him, he's already dead. I sigh and lean against a sign. I searched until the sun set, and the only thing I figured out was how useless I am. Dude, you need... in this route in particular, he really just has zero sense of self-worth, right? It's obvious he's not exactly mentally healthy in the Fate route, but in this route, it's just, I don't deserve to be happy. I'm useless, right? You know, like, I used myself as bait. Like, Jesus, dude. The wound on my left shoulder is throbbing with pain. I don't know if it's opened up or if the bandage is getting loose. Either way, I can't spend too much time on the search. It'll end up like last night if I can't find a clue.
あいつどこに行ってるんだ、本当。
I recall when I parted ways with her last night. It's already been a day since she told me to run to the church since I can't fight without Saber.
ってそうだ、教会。
There is a clue. Thought about it when I started the search this morning. Supervisor of the Holy Grail War. The priest of the church might know where Tosaka is.
あいつの手を借りるのは尺に触るけど、襟好みしてる場合じゃない。
Well, I've got news for you. You won't have to ask him for help. More specifically, you can't. No, I shouldn't go see that priest, regardless of my feelings. He's a priest, but Kodamine Kire is not a man that should be approached. I don't want to go ask him for advice, but he's the only one I can count on right now.
一度だけだ。それなら問題ないだろう。
You're not going to consult anything. I convince myself and move my aching body. It's almost 7 o'clock. Dang, dude has been at it for a while now. 20 minutes walk from the station. The church is in the suburbs, away from the noisy town. It's been 9 days since I last went up this hill, but I'm going there pretty often now, considering that I've never went there before. Fair. To be honest, I don't like the church. Maybe that building itself is a forbidden place I shouldn't approach. The fire 10 years ago. The church took care of all the orphans at that time, so it reminds me of that incident whether I like it or not. Man, that church has some horrid secrets. I get up the hill and come out into the clearing. I get a sudden headache. It's not because of the wound on my shoulder, The wound was causing me to have a fever, but it shouldn't give me such a headache. My temples are hurting. I lose myself and feel a chill, as if my body is splitting in two like a shedding insect.
おかしいぞこれ。
I bear the headache and start running. It's because of the hunch I've had since yesterday. The conviction that Tosaka is in Shinto. That sensation is assailing me now and causing the headache. Then, something should be going on in there. There are bloodstains on the floor. The blood continues to the door at the back of the church.
違う。奥に続いてるっていうより、奥から外に出たって感じだ。
I'm curious about it, but now's not the time. If there's blood, it means someone's hurt. And this much, too. Their life must be in danger. I feel a sharp pain in my head. Dull heaviness settles in my body. I ignore it, take out the wooden sword, and start walking quietly.
遠坂、いるのか？
Nobody replies. The air is tense. I feel like the windows here will break if I'm too loud. I follow the trail of blood. It's coming from in between the columns. A dark stairway that you would normally not notice.
地下へ続く階段。ここ、地下室があったんだ。
Man, that's the last place you need to be. This is a church, so could it be a mausoleum? I don't have enough energy to just stand here and think. I cautiously step into the darkness. Man, we better hope Castor's gone. I descend into the dark. See a faint light at the end of the stairs. Breathing quietly, I make my way down using that faint light. What is this? Why is my screen blue? The narrow corridor ends and I come out into an open space. It's a big stone room. The stairs follow the wall down to the catacombs. There's an open space at the end of the stairs, and there's the person I've been looking for, Tosaka Rin. Tosaka confronts the enemy before her with Archer's protection. In front of her, in front of the altar, are two people. It does not even need to be said who they are. The magus in a purple robe, Castor, and her master, Kazuki. And on the altar behind them is Saber. Saber, who is looking down and panting painfully. My heart jumps. My pulse is beating faster than normal. The situation is obvious. Two pairs of masters and servant are confronting each other in the temple about 5 meters below me. They haven't noticed me standing above them, as are too absorbed. Tosaka and Castor are looking for an opening to strike. It would be suicidal for them to look up in a situation like this. My heart beats even faster. My head pounds and my shoulder aches as if seared by a hot iron. I can't keep my presence hidden forever in this state. Castor Kazuki will notice me if they happen to look up just a bit. Ooh, now this is a good question. Try to stay hidden or create an opening. Like he said, like he's just going to get noticed like this. But is the fact that he will eventually be noticed a good enough reason to run out and create an opening like that at the risk of his own life? Would Shirou do that? It's quite possible he would. It's bold, it's incredibly stupid, but I could see Shirou quite possibly running out, creating that opening. It's a tough question. Let's just Let's just try going out, I guess. Worst case scenario, that is the dreadfully wrong move, and I have to reload, but losing a few minutes isn't that big of a deal. Now's my chance. It's not just a surprise attack. Tosaka and Archer, Caster and Kazuki. If the powers are equal, even I can make a difference. I can let Archer take care of Caster, so if I can stop Kazuki for a while, Tosaka can shoot him from a distance.
Shiro!
Yeah, no, we're not out of this. We literally will not tap out, ever. I feel like it's quite possible that it's better that we jump out now than one of them to see us later in the fight, honestly. And that's kind of another thing I thought about. I probably should have said that out loud. But if they see us now, right, then yeah, they have that brief moment of why is he here? If you do that in a fight, right, you know, Kazuki or Caster gonna be like, oh, you're open, you're dead. I run down the stairs. I've strengthened the wooden sword in my hand. I suppress the pain in my shoulder. I can't let Caster know that I'm wounded.
本気なんだってこんなところにいるのよ、あんたは。
Yes, we are out of our mind. Shiro has an interesting and very unhealthy mindset.
何言ってんだ。教会に行けって言ったのは遠坂だろ。
No, you got her there.
俺だってこんなヤバい場面に出くわすなんて思わなかった。
Tosaka gasps. Good. I said that on a whim, but it seems Tosaka understands now.
ともかく加勢する。この状況なら俺でも役に立つだろう。小言はキャスターを倒してからにしてくれ。
I slowly close in on Kazuki so that I'll be able to protect her.
たわけね。おとなしく覗いているだけなら、お前もリーも助かったもの。
Did we just screw things up? We might have. He mutters as if he's given up. Before I realize what he means.
キャスター
Oh. He's gonna use the command spell now. Or she's gonna use the command spell on Saber now. No time to waste. Kazuki uses his command spell to order Caster. Yeah. No, that was a disaster. Maybe we did need to just stay hidden. That's disastrous. Yikes. Saber's bindings are released. The golden-haired girl falls powerlessly to the ground and...
そんな、セイバーはまだ支配できていないのに。
Even Saber can't resist 2 command spells.
ええ、ですからレイジを使ってあなたたちを殺すように命じたのよ。マスターの命令ですもの。使いたくはなかったけど、使うしかないでしょ。
Yeah, I think I threw. I think we needed to just hide. I think Archer's right. Uh-oh. Saber gets up. Her body is covered with her silver armor, and in her hands is a golden sword I have never seen before.
まったく、やってくれたわね、坊や。おかげで残るレイジは一つだけ。これは保身用のものだから、セイバーにはもう無理強いができなくなった。
On one hand, that's a very good point, but do we really have a chance of survival against Caster, Kazuki, and Saber? Probably not.
聖杯を永久にしようという私の算段はこれでおしまいよ。あとはただ一度きりの望みとやらを叶えるだけになったけど、その前にせめてここで楽しませてもらうわ。さあセイバー、私の望みを台無しにしてくれたこの子たちに本当の力を見せてあげなさい。
Saber readies her golden sword and steps towards us. Archer is silent. And instead of telling Tosaka to run, he stands in front of Saber. It is the final loyalty of the knight that understands he cannot protect his master no matter what. Saber and Caster begin their attack. There's no way to counterattack, nor is there time to run away. How can a mere human defend against it when even Archer has abandoned all hope? Yeah, whoops, I threw. Saber and Caster. Ordered by the command spells, the 2 servants attack mercilessly. Whoops. Yeah. In retrospect, I can see it. And we will come back to the Tiger Dojo another time and just do them all in order. Because it's not like it's hard to see where I went wrong. I needed to stay hidden a bit longer. Honestly, I thought that might have been the right move. To come out like that. I mean, like I said, worst case scenario, I only lose like a few minutes if I was wrong, but... At first I did want to play it safe, but... I was kind of thinking, like... I hadn't thought about Caster using that extra command spell, so... And that's kind of what destroyed us. So let's go the other way this time. I breathe quietly. I push my body against the wall and watch while keeping myself hidden. It's still too early. It'll be too reckless to charge in when I don't understand the situation yet. And more than anything, I don't have much power. Strengthened wooden sword is my only weapon. It's foolish to confront Caster without a plan. Uh-oh. No, that's wrong. I do have another weapon. Uh-oh, projection time.
バカな。それこそ何を考えている。
Stop talking out loud. I can't use projection. Half my body became numb after I used it once. Archer told me that it'll end up worse if I do it again. Using magic beyond your capabilities can destroy you. If I use projection magic in this state, it'll be natural for me to die on the spot.
機会は必ず来る。今は。
I'll bide my time and wait for my chance.
そう。なら、綺麗は殺したわけ。
Her voice only holds murderous intent. Osaka's glaring at the enemy with a coldness I've never seen before.
ええ、始末したわ。素直に聖杯を差し出す人間でもなさそうでしたからね。後々になって邪魔をされても困るもの。
Yeah, I suppose that's the right read, but... In contrast, Caster is calm and composed. The Magus in purple cheerfully admits the murder of the priest. A grating sound echoes through the temple. He was more like a devil than a saint to me, but that priest was a fellow apprentice to Tosaka. And he was killed. Even though he was involved and might have been prepared for it, it's not something she can take in readily.
そう。それは結構。綺麗もそれぐらいは覚悟していたでしょう。けどキャスター、一つ聞くけど、あいつの死体は確認した？
Whoops. Am I mistaken, or has she suppressed all her anger? Tosaka seems like she's not angry at all. Caster evades Tosaka's question.
何を言い出すかと思えば、そのようなことあなたには関係ないでしょ。
ええ、全くないわ。けど他人事でもない。あいつが本当に死んだんなら安心できるから確認しただけよ。
God dang, that is cold.
それはどういう意味かしら、お嬢さん。
言葉通りの意味よ、キャスター。あいつがそう簡単に死ぬ玉かっての。もしはっきりと死体を確認していないんじゃ、まず間違いなく生きているって思っただけ。
Yo, Kiri's actually alive and just rolls up with Lancer.
使えないわね、あなたも。どうせ綺麗を襲うならしっかりきっかり息の根を止めておけっていうのよ。
My God, Tosaka.
まあいいわ。やることもできたし、早めに済ませましょう、キャスター。今回は人質もいないし、気持ちよく戦えるわ。
Yes, just ignore us, we'll stay hidden. A signal to start. Tosaka or Caster. If either one of them takes a step forward, this temple will be filled with magic.
大きく出たわね。あなた、この状況で私たちに勝てるつもりなのかしら？
やりようによってはね。幸いセイバーの制御もまだのようだし、条件は同じでしょ。それに久月先生のことも分かってる。セイバーは面食らってたけど、事前に知っていれば私のアーチャーの敵じゃないわ。
I mean, that might be true. So, maybe, I mean, this is their best chance so far, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. Osaka points to Archer while staring at Caster.
聞いての通りよ、アーチャー。キャスターの相手は私がする。下手に近づくと、あんたまで契約破りを食らいかねないから。
Yeah, good luck. Caster's magic can, do some horrible things. Although I suppose in such close quarters, maybe she can't really get away with using it.
私の相手はあの男か。それは構わないが、魔術師ではキャスターにはかなわないと分かっているのか、リン。
安心して、勝ち目もないことは言い出さないわ。キャスターは必ずここで倒す。そうすればセイバーだって元に戻ってシロと契約をし直せるでしょ。
I can't help but feel like Archer's gonna be like, or we could just have him not do that. But because why would Archer want us to have Saber again, even if we're allies? Osaka tenses for action. I feel pressure as if she's a tiger about to attack its prey, and as if to stop her.
理想論だな。彼女をここで倒すというのは難しい。逃げるだけならば彼女は当代一だ。何しろ逃亡のために実の弟すら八つ咲きにする女だからな。
She's a master when it comes to running away, yeah. That's definitely something we've learned so far. She's really good at running away when the situation is disadvantageous to her. Also, is this like a identity reveal to people who actually know the mythology? If you haven't picked up on who she is at this point. I genuinely, like, don't know who it is. I'm sure we'll get there eventually, but Archer steps in between Tosaka and Caster.
アーチャー、ちょっと何のつもりよ。
He does not answer Tosaka. The knight in red silently confronts Caster. I think I saw something like this before.
実の弟すら八つ咲きにしたですって。
Oh. Yeah, is this the identity reveal?
知ったような口を聞くのね、アーチャー。あなたには私の正体が分かっていて。
竜の葉をよりしろとした人型はコルキス王の魔術と聞く。
Okay.
その娘、王女メディアは希代の魔女と歌われたそうだが。
Oh, yeah, he got it. He nailed it. I don't even know who that is, but he nailed that one. The air freezes. Caster's composure disappears, and enmity like fire is directed at Archer.
そう。なら、この場はどちらが優勢かわかるでしょ？
Archer does not answer. His expression is like stone, as if accepting everything that is happening.
抵抗は無駄よ、アーチャー。あなたが何者だろうと、セイバーを取り戻すことはできない。今はまだ私に逆らう意志が残ってるけど、それもあと1日持つかどうか。それに、霊樹さえ使ってしまえば、今すぐにだって私の人形にしてしまえるわ。
I barely stop myself from moving. Not yet. Even if that's true, now is not the time. If I want to save Saber, I can't jump out now.
たとえ霊樹を使われても、セイバーなら耐えられるわ。それが1分か2分かは知らない。
Saber was not able to stand it.
けど、それだけあれば十分にあなたを仕留められるんじゃない？
Dang, she said, yeah, we got you in a minute or two. That's big talk. Caster and Tosaka are glaring at each other, standing in between them.
不可能だな。ここでお前を切り伏せようが、せいぜいその半身を立つ程度。その後に待つのは、セイバーとキャスターを同時に敵に回すという劣勢だけだろう。
Archer does not meet his master's expectations.
アーチャー、それは。
It's facts. That's what it is.
分かっているはずだ、リン。さすがにそうなっては勝ち目がない。セイバーは不完全なマスターのために能力を制限されていた。その縛りがなくなった以上、彼女は最強のサーバントだ。太刀打ちできるのはバーサーカーのみだろうよ。
Yeah. If she can actually use her abilities, right? Because she has a master with magical energy. Oof. Things get ugly for everyone else. Things get really ugly for everyone else. He speaks plainly. Tosaka stares at Archer in astonishment, and even Caster is bewildered by the sensible enemy. But it's different for me. I've experienced something like this before.
まさかあいつ
I get a bad feeling. Back at the Ryudo temple, when Castor proposed that he join her, what did he say back to her when he refused?
やめろ
I murmur without realizing. Don't do it. It's not because the situation will get worse. You're Tosaka's partner, so don't do it. If you do such a thing, I don't know what kind of an expression she'll make. Archer steps forward. He's empty-handed as usual. He steps forward without enmity or intent to kill.
恨むなよ小僧。
Did he hurt us?
こうなってはこうする以外に道はなかろう。
Oh no. Yikes. He looks and smiles at me as if he knew I was watching this whole time.
さてキャスター、一つ尋ねるが、お前の許容量にまだ空きはあるのだろうな。
アーチャー、あんた。
No way. Castor laughs out loud while Archer stands tall before her. And Tosaka does not look away. She should break down at a time like this, but she keeps a straight face and endures it, gritting her teeth. Oh man, which Archer just said she'd never have to do.
当然よ。一人と言わず、すべてのサーバントを扱えるだけの貯蔵はあるわ。私の魔力がどこから補充されているかは知っているでしょ
Magical energy that allows her to maintain 7 servants. It is the lives of the people in this town.
ならば話は早い。以前の話、受けることにするよ、キャスター。
He holds out his hand to Castor in spite of that. I feel like I'll go crazy. I can't forgive him. For betraying Tosaka, and for approving of Castor and joining Castor's side. A hero. For this hero who embodies Emiya Shirou's ideals, to do such a thing.
あの時は断ったのに随分と腰が軽いのね、あなたは。
Yeah, no kidding.
状況が変わった。セイバーがそちらに着いたのなら、今回の聖杯戦争の勝機はお前にある。勝てる方につくのは当然の行為だろう。
Archer walks towards Castor defenselessly. That means he's abandoning Tosaka. Tosaka does not stop him and stares at her enemy. I know that figure. The red classroom. She tried to hide her trembling legs and act like the same old Tosaka Rin, even with the collapsed students in front of her. That's her strength and weakness. She tried to act firm in any situation, so everybody around her gets the wrong idea that she's a strong person.
さあ、契約破りを使ってくれ。リンにはまだ霊樹が残っているからな。早くしなければ、お前に襲いかかってしまうぞ。
His tone doesn't change. He betrayed Tosaka in front of her, but he's still acting normally. She must be on guard against such a guy. Castor takes out the distorted dagger, but she does not pierce Archer with it.
どうした？労せずして忠実な部下が手に入るのだ。何をためらう必要がある？
どうかしら。私は裏切り者を信用しない。あなたの言葉が正しいのなら、コマはセイバーだけでいいのではなくて。
He doesn't trust him.
裏切り者を信用しないか。確かに私はお前をも裏切るかもしれん。私は私のためにお前に下るのだからな。お前を主と認めたわけではない。だが
霊樹とは裏切り者を罰するためにあるでしょ。
Yeah.
いいわ。あなた一人を御し得ないようでは私の器も知れるというもの。元よりあなたの宝具には興味があったことだし、思惑にはまってあげましょう。
I hope this is some kind of ruse, and we aren't actually going to have to go against Team Caster, who has Archer, Saber, Caster, Assassin, and Kazuki. What, we're gonna have to team up with Berserker and Gilgamesh? Caster raises her arm. The dagger to eliminate the contract pierces Archer's chest. Tosaka makes a pained face. It must be the reaction of having her contract broken by force. But this isn't the time to be hesitating. This has become the worst possible situation. Tosaka watches Caster and slowly retreats. Tosaka's calm. She knows it'd do no good to fight them now. If she wants to keep on fighting, she has to retreat for the moment. There are 6 meters between Tosaka and the stairs. Is it possible for her to run that distance safely? Impossible. It's apparent watching the scene from above. Kazuki, who has been silent up to now, is on guard against Tosaka. She turns and runs full speed. Would she be able to reach the stairs and get to the exit before Kazuki catches up to her? Tosaka sighs while looking at them. Her face... that's impossible. Seems to say so. She'll die. She'll be killed. If I try to help her, I will also die. The area below me is a land of death. There's a master called Kazuki, along with 2 enemy servants. There's no way I'd get out of there alive. My throat is dry. My fingers are tense from nervousness. 0 or 1. Even before I can think, Tosaka moves. She starts for the stairs without any warning. Behind her, a tall, lean figure catches up to her so quickly that Tosaka appears to be standing still. Kazuki's fist should hit her in the back of the head. He was able to hurt Saber through her armor. It should be easy for him to break a human skull. Can't save her. I can't save her by myself. I can't save her with this wooden sword. I'll die if I go out. I'll die if I go out. I'll die if I go out. Die if I go out. I'll die if I go out. Man. Help Tosaka or don't. I'm not even thinking twice. I jump down. I don't even use the stairs. I've jumped down behind Tosaka without even knowing it. But that's it. My wooden sword is destroyed by Kazuki's fist, going for Tosaka's head. Everyone's astonished by the sudden intruder, except for one man, who reacts as though it's perfectly natural. He does not hesitate. It does not matter for this man who the enemy is. He has no emotion for the one who appeared. Death's scythe is thrust. There's no way to block it. I'll have my neck snapped like a flower. How pitiful. It's meaningless if I won't last even 2 seconds. I will not be able to do anything. Not even save Tosaka. Boy, yep, hey, you best get to projecting, like, now. No. I had a way from the start. I can prepare numerous things to block the attack. I'm a magus. What does the fighting is not my body, but something I make out of magic.
Torres. On.
And make it. Success is a matter of course. Do not reconstruct it from the basic structure. Danger. Read its concept, the maker's thoughts, expectation, moral, faith, and the origin itself. Danger. That is why it is not reconstruction, but projection. It is an equal shadow cast by the true object. Danger. It does not matter how great the work is. If it has been accomplished, there's no problem with recreating it. Overload. Oh, good lord. Oh my god. But there is another problem. Yes, the problem is that the unit cannot keep up with the function. My body is burning. Every cell in me catches fire. My nerves let out agonizing cries. My retina cracks and dries, and my heartbeat disappears. I ignore my body's order to stop. The concept of creation, the basic structure, the composition material, the skill of its making, the experience of its growth, the accumulated years. I skip it all and make up Kansho and Bakuya. Good lord. His magic circuit's going crazy. My whole body is burning. Using projection now means dying. Emiya Shirou's body cannot handle such magic. My head ignores it, and therefore my body will die. But that cannot be a problem. No, it cannot be. I will die if I reproduce swords? Of course not. This body is a magic circuit specialized for this purpose alone. I have been saved by swords, and I have lived with swords. I do not know about others, but it is impossible for me to destroy myself by reproducing swords. He's fully confident in that. He might be right, but... I repel it. The same weapons are in my hands, and my enemy is the same. Kansho and Bakia are in my hands. The reproduced Noble Phantasm of Archer has repelled Kazuki's fist once again. It stops right there. Kazuki must have figured out this would turn out like last time, as he takes a step back. My lungs explode. The breath I've been holding escapes my mouth in a rush. I don't feel my left shoulder. My wound is completely opened up and the blood stains not only my bandage, but my shirt as well. It's not damage brought on by using the projection magic. 2 attacks. I only repelled Kazuki's attack twice and my shoulder got destroyed. I bet my shoulder would have been dislocated with one more attack, and my arm would have been ripped off. Yeah, you might need to recover a little bit, but the swords might give you a chance to actually retreat. I can't show that. I ready my twin swords and protect Tosaka's back. And Tosaka is, what, standing there dumbfounded? Man, get out of here! He has stopped and is complaining to me. I'm relieved. My choice wasn't wrong. I'm glad her good-heartedness is still there. No, now's not the time. It's too early to tell if my choice was right or not. We have to get out of here alive. She really sounded, I gotta be honest, she really sounded worried about us. For a second there. Tosaka nods silently and readies herself behind me.
手を出すと分かってはいたが、まさか飛び降りるとは思わなかった。
Kazuki's watching us, his fists ready to fight. He has no intention of letting us go. He's standing there so he doesn't let one of us go. If either of us moves, he should react right away. But I can't be taking my time. The wound in my shoulder is getting worse by the second. My concentration fades as more blood is lost. My body won't last long to start with. If we're to run, we should do so as fast as possible. We can't run away that easily. Kazuki will react if I move. When that happens, Tosaka will be the first one to die. I have to defeat Kazuki to let Tosaka go, but I don't have the power to beat Kazuki, and he's not our only enemy. Behind Kazuki are Caster and the betrayer, Archer. No, in the worst case, Saber might also become our enemy. Was there no exit to begin with? There's no miracle that will let us escape from here. I want Tosaka to escape at the very least, but even that would require so much luck that it makes me sick.
そこまでのようね。あなたの乱入には驚いたけど、結果は変わらないわ。ええ、その顔では諦めもついたようだし。出てきたということは、殺されてもいいということよね。
I mean, clearly he doesn't, or he wouldn't do half the things he does, but...
ここでおしまいにしてあげるわ。生かしておいても面倒でしょうし、ここでまとめて。
She's coming. I'll resist with all my powers. I ready my twin swords and stand in front of Tosaka. Man, I don't know what you guys are gonna manage, but I hope we somehow manage something. Released intent to kill. Right before it reaches us.
いいや。待て、キャサー。
Ooh. Hello? Why? Nana in red stops the attack with an emotionless voice.
はあ、じゃあ、この場での発言権がないことぐらい読み取ってると思ったけど。
いや、言い忘れていたことがあった。お前の軍門に下るには、一つだけ条件をつけたい。
Okay. And that is?
条件ですって？
ああ。無抵抗でお前に自由を差し出したのだ。その代償として、 この場では奴らを見逃してやれ。
So is this Archer paying the ultimate price again? He is still a betrayer, but did he betray Tosaka to let her live? Did he know that it was a hopeless situation anyway and decided that at least he could let Tosaka live? Or is that thinking too much of him? It could be thinking too much of him. But I mean, in the Fate route, he also pays the ultimate price, you know? I guess we'll see if they have an opinion on that later, but I don't know. Is it just, did he betray to keep Tosaka alive, or is that just a side effect? Right? Was he going to betray anyways because he wants to be on the winning side, and it was just kind of a, like, just keep Tosaka alive, like, or just let her live this one time? That feels like the type of thing you'd only bother trying to keep Tosaka alive for now, right? If that was your express intent, right? I don't know. Again, maybe I am thinking too much of Archer. But for what reason? If he truly wanted her to live and him still be on the winning side, why would it be to let them go like this one time instead of just like don't kill them ever? Like, I don't know. Let's just keep moving. We'll see, and we'll talk about it more later.
どの道マスターとしては機能しない者たちだ。 殺す価値はないだろう。
This proposal sounds objective. Tosaka watches it intently.
見逃せですって言動の割には甘いのね、あなた。
私とて人の子だ。さすがに裏切った瞬間に主を殺したでは後味が悪い。
裏切り者のくせによく本人の前で人並みのことを言えたものね。いいわ。今回は見逃してあげましょう。けれど次に目障りな真似をしたら誰が止めようと殺します。
So we live for now, so we need time to regroup and figure something out. We need to figure something out.
それでいいかしら、アーチャー。
当然だ。この状況でなお戦いを挑むような愚か者ならば手早く死んだ方がいい。
You gotta know Shiro's gonna keep fighting, right? Like, he's already stupid enough to come back once. You think this is gonna stop him? I must have concluded the negotiation. The intent to kill filling the temple goes away, and the restraining enmity fades.
そういうことよ、お二人さん。今回は見逃してあげるわ。さあ、敗者は敗者らしく逃げるように立ち去りなさい。
Dang, you really did insult us like that? I glare at Caster, but Tosaka pulls on my arm silently.
行きましょう。今はあいつの言う通りよ。
She whispers in my ear. I calm down and turn my back to the enemy. We don't run, but slowly make our way to the stairs. The distance that seemed so great is covered in just a few steps. A footstep. Tosaka takes a step onto the stairs and turns back to Caster. No, that's wrong. Tosaka did not look at Caster, but at the man smiling beside our enemy.
恨むのなら筋違いだぞ、リン。マスターとしてこの女の方が優れていただけの話だ。
Even if that's true, you are still greasy. Assuming that it's obviously assuming we don't think he did this to save Rin. He's greasy no matter what. Like no matter what that reason is.
優劣が明確ならば私は強い方を取る。
You didn't choose it earlier.
そうね。けど後悔するわよ。私は絶対に降りない。いい？キャスターを倒してあんたを取り戻す。その時になって謝っても許さないんだから。
それは無駄骨だな。まあ、自殺するというのなら止めはしないが。
She turns away and starts to walk. She's biting her lip in anger. But she does not speed up, and Tosaka leaves the underground temple in a magnificent manner. We get out of the church. We do not say anything. I'm gonna go to the status screen. So we can get the details. Really? We just got her true name. What? It's just this. Jesus, man. This is some bull, bro. It might be safe to assume that Lancer is, in fact, not dead. Because they're making it sound like, whatchamacallit, Kirei is not dead. Archer. Ryder's dead. Like, literally. Berserker, Lancer, versus everyone else. This is some bull. We have Berserker, Lancer, there is Gilgamesh, and then us as masters, all the masters remaining. Even if we all teamed up, right? Who's winning that? I mean, Gilgamesh would be like, if we somehow teamed up with Gilgamesh, which seems absurdly unlikely, but if it did happen, I could maybe, quite possibly, actually, see us winning. But without Gilgamesh, right, and it doesn't seem very likely that we'd team up with him. Maybe we team up with Shinji, right, and then Gilgamesh follows for a while. But I don't think he'd ever truly be like a good guy, you know? But point is, like, I don't think Berserker and Lancer are nearly enough, right, to win that. Berserker is absurdly strong, but Archer and Saber, with a combined effort, could probably win, and that's not even including Caster and Kazuki, right? I mean, Lancer is there too, but we would need Gilgamesh, right? Or we would need, like, Shirou to literally become the, like, so strong that he is equivalent to Archer. Which seems unlikely. I could see him becoming pretty strong, but that strong? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm interested, though. I'm interested to see what the heck we're going to do from here, because this is our truest low, like, this is our lowest moment for Tosaka and Shirou. My wound hurts. The sweat on my forehead drips down to my eyes and my vision wavers. Even walking hurts my wound. It hurts every time I take a step, and my strides are getting shorter.
Emiya-kun?
Oh my god, yeah, we can't even see you, Tosaka. She turns back to me as I'm falling behind. Then, Tosaka suddenly looks at me seriously.
少し休みましょう。シロ、歩くのも辛いでしょう。
Yes, it is very hard for us to even walk.
いや、大丈夫だ。このぐらいなら我慢できる。
That's also
それよ
true.
り今
But
は早く戻った方がいい。
true or not, you clearly are struggling, man. You need a break. To the Emiya or Tosaka household. It doesn't matter, but we should get Tosaka back to her home ground.
こっちの傷は気にするな。別に毒が塗り込まれたわけでもないんだから。
I ignore Tosaka's stare and keep walking. Yeah, and then you collapsed. How pitiful. My knee's about to give out right after I say so.
ほら、もう無茶するんだから。その傷でクズキとやり合うなんて自殺行為よ。いいから休みなさい。あいつら、私たちを追いかけたりはしてこないわ。
It was indeed suicidal. It was highly suicidal, and he knew that going in.
だろうな。けど、少しでも早く家に戻ろう。
Dude, stop.
俺なら、そう辛くはない。
It clearly is. You can't even walk, dude.
あんたね、そんなに血が出てて辛くないなって言わないでよ。なんで家に戻りたがるか知らないけど、今は休む方が先でしょ。
She scolds me. Oh, so she's not back to par yet, huh? Her usual coolness isn't there. She's very emotional, so her anger will be unstoppable if the brakes give way.
ちょっと聞いてるの？綺麗じゃあるまいし、そんなに血の跡をつけて歩かれても迷惑なのよ。大体どうしてこんなことになってるわけ？そりゃ教会に行けって言ったのは私だけど、すぐにヤバいってわからなかったの？
Yes, that's part of the reason we were there.
あのな、バカにすんな。それぐらい分かったぞ。のっぴきならない事態になってるって、 教会を見た時から気づいてた。
Yeah, and that's why we showed up.
ならすぐ帰りなさいバカ。それだけじゃない。傷も治ってないのに乱入してきて、おまけにまた投影。そんなの傷が悪化するのは当然じゃない。だって言うのに辛くはないですって。ああ、もうどうかしてる。なんだってそんな無茶するのよ、あんたは。
Yeah, she's really annoyed at his lack of any sense of self-preservation. Tosaka roars out without stop. But well, it really isn't that painful, and
だって遠坂の方が辛いだろう。
dang. Hit her where it hurts.
だから戻ろう。家に帰れば弱音を吐いてもいいんだから。
Jeez. That's why I wanted to go home as quickly as possible. She doesn't have to act that strong. Osaka can let everything out once she's back in her own room at home. Oh, man. Jeez. He's trying to be so strong and Shirou just sees through it. She wipes her face like she made a mistake and turns away.
ああ、
I can't think of anything to say. That was...
信じらんない。男の子に泣かされた。
She murmurs while looking down. Then...
遠坂って、俺の手握ってるぞ、お前。
Wow, okay, I did not expect that development.
うるさい。責任取れ、バカ。
What?
あ、傷が痛む。よりにもよって左手を引っ張るな。
No, that's fair. Let's go to the other side. It's the foreigner's cemetery. Osaka walks over to the grassy area and finally lets go of my hand.
あのな、遠坂。今はこんな寄り道をしてる場合じゃん。
座って。いいから座って。
She does not let me object, so I sit down.
で、後ろを向いて、絶対に振り返らないこと。私の顔を見たら、本当に怒るから。
Okay. I guess. I hear a sound behind me. We sit down on the grass with our backs to each other. I don't get why she's doing this. Osaka's silent, and she told me not to turn around. I don't have anything to do, so I look up at the sky. I gasp at how big it is. Is it because I've been underground so long, or is it because the sky is clear tonight? Anyways, the winter night sky is so beautiful that it makes me forget about my wound. The warmth of Tosaka's body on my back doesn't bother me either. I look up at the black sky, forgetting about everything for now. How long have we been sitting like this? The silent girl starts to talk in a calm voice.
独り言なんだけど。
Yeah, I see. I can't reply if she's just talking to herself. I'll keep staring at the night sky.
少し間違えたかもしれない。アーチャーの言う通り、最初のうちに手段を選ばずキャスターを倒しておけばよかった。ちょっとの犠牲を気にして機会を計ってたけど、結局このままだと街中の人が犠牲になるでしょ。
Even so, I don't think Shiro's gonna let you give up now. Or at the very least, Shiro won't, but... I can see why you'd think that, though. I can get it. She keeps talking. She's probably whining. She's not saying so because I told her. In short, Osaka doesn't want to contemplate her actions by herself. wants someone else to make her do it.
別に愚痴を言うわけじゃないけどね。私いつも一番大事なことばっかりしくじるのよ。2番か3番かそういうのはさらっとできるくせに、一番大事なものだけは手こずるんだ。
Yeah. It's kind of always been a trait of hers. We learned about that in the prologue. The winter sky is clear, but in contrast, the air is really cold. I don't care about myself, but isn't Osaka cold without her coat? I'm worried about that.
アーチャーがあっち側に行ったのもあいつだけの責任じゃないわ。結局キャスターを野放しにしたのは私だもの。
I feel like you're blaming yourself a little too much there.
けど、参ったな。ついさっきあんなこと言ったのにいきなり追い詰められちゃった。
She sighs. I can't see it, but I bet her breath is white.
ちょっとここ何にって突っ込むところだと思うんだけど。
ああ、で、何に追い詰められたんだ、遠坂。
Yeah, he was listening.
うん。後悔はしたくないってこと。あいつは私はそういう性格じゃないって言ってたけど、今が正念場みたい。シローがあんなこと言うから余計失敗したなって落ち込んじゃった。
That whole conversation really came back to bite her. Huh. She asked those questions, got Archer's response, and then now, like, everything's changed. Everything he said was wrong. I see. I don't understand her too well, but Archer's right. Osaka isn't the type to regret her actions.
そんなの今だけだろ。尺に触るけど、俺もアーチャーの意見には同感だ。遠坂は何も反省することなんてない。
どうしてよ。現にキャスターはやりたい放題で、アーチャーにまで愛想をつかされた。これ、私が方針を間違えたからでしょ。
それは単に失敗しただけだろ。遠坂は間違えてなんかない。間違えていないなら失敗しても胸を張れると思う。
That's an interesting, like, outlook. The process. If you walk down the path that you believe is right, you cannot be wrong. At a time like this, most people realize that their path is a wrong one. But she's different. Her path should always be the one that she can be proud of.
そうだな。正直、俺にはお前が眩しい。俺も後悔はしない。自分のやってきたことが正しいって信じてる。けど、それは継ぎはぎだらけだ。
I don't want to regret anything. I want to make all the tragedies that happened into meaningful things by believing that my path is right.
でも、お前は違うだろ。後悔はしたらしたで、きっとその倍は仕返しをするタイプだ。俺は継ぎはぎでなんとかごまかしてるけど、お前は平気な顔で粉々にしちまうんだ。採算は取れてる。たまにしか落ち込まないだろうけど、遠坂はその後が怖い。お前を落ち込ませた相手は何倍もお前に落ち込まされると思う。
Yeah, I know, I could see it.
何それ、追い打ち？
鬼がか乱してるうちに言っておこうと思って。でもまあ事実なんじゃないか。遠坂、このままで済ます気はないんだろ。
There's no way. She's not gonna give up that easy. Right? I look up at the night sky and say so as if talking to myself. Osaka doesn't answer. But I think that she smiled, getting herself together. And silence follows. Osaka must have said everything she wanted to as she stops talking. I aimlessly look up at the night sky. We should be going home, but neither one of us can stand up to break the moment. So we just keep our backs to each other.
そういえば、どうして私を助けたの、シロ？
I can't explain. There are many reasons. I think it'd be stupid to explain each one. So I say something I have to tell her.
このペンダント見覚えあるだろ
Oh! He's just coming out with it. I show her the pendant. I thought so. I bet she intended to keep this a secret, but she made a mistake again.
それどうして
う遠坂の部屋で見つけたあ帰ったらびっくりするだろうけどすまん化粧台倒しちまった
I return her the pendant behind my back.
でそれがどうしたっていうのよあなたは
You can quit playing dumb now, Tosaka.
いやこれと同じペンダント俺の家にもあるんだ学校でランさんに殺されかけた時気がついたら近くに落ちてたんで拾ってそのまま
I casually hint about that night.
そ
Then...
っちにも同じものがある
Oh my god! Tosaka, shut up! Tosaka gasps as if she's heard something she shouldn't have.
あれなんかおかしなこと言ったか俺
別にそれよりどうしてそれが私を助けた理由になるのよ別にいいじゃないそんなペンダントなんて
You can drop the act, Tosaka. Come on. He clearly knows.
そうだなあ本当はただの後付けだ白状するとずっと前から遠坂凛ってやつに憧れてた
Dang. He's really just coming out and saying it, huh?
で困ったことにいざ話してみたら余計好きになっちまっただから死んでほしくなくて気がつけば何も考えずに飛び降りていただけだ
あんたねそういう歯に衣着せぬ発言はやめなさい考えなしに思ったことを口にしてるとどこかしらで誤解を招くんだから
I don't think there's a misunderstanding to be had there. It's got a pretty clear meaning, and he means what he said.
招くかそんなの俺本当に遠坂のことを好きだぞ
I obstinately reply at once. It's not a lie, so there's no misunderstanding to be made.
バカそんなだから自殺同然で飛び込んでくるのよこの大バカ
Yeah. Yeah, more or less. Tosaka keeps calling me an idiot. She's criticizing mercilessly, but I strangely don't feel bad. The night sky is beautiful, and I feel calm. I'm just really happy that Tosaka's back to normal.
よしシロの言う通りそろそろ家に帰りましょうかほら手を出してその傷だと立つのも辛いでしょ
Yes, that is, yeah, good point. I grab her hand with my right. Tosaka pulls me up.
これで貸し借りはなしね今日のことはお互いノーカウントってことにしましょう
Sure. That would really help me out. I don't know what the pendant means to Tosaka. I bet I would have felt more guilty towards Tosaka if I found out. Tosaka didn't want that, and said the incidents offset one another. So Tosaka shouldn't feel bad about getting helped earlier. And we leave the foreigner's cemetery. And on the way...
助けてくれてありがとうシロそのすっごく助かったわ
Yeah. Shiro would be very dead right now. Or, Tosaka would be very dead if it wasn't for Shiro right now. Tosaka adds with embarrassment. We walk down the hill, and we're going back to our home ground where it's safe. Tosaka heads for my house and not her house, as if it's natural to do so. Sheesh. That was a really nice scene. Why is it that every time I decide I want to talk about a scene, they're like, yep, ticking clock. I really liked that scene. Them talking in the moonlight, you know. It was a really nice CG too. And that song always makes everything better. I gotta say, I really like the build-up with their relationship. and how I don't know, and how what I don't know, but I'm bad at processing my thoughts immediately. But I just really enjoyed that. Seeing them kind of talk, Shirou kind of like, you know, do what he could to bring her back to her normal self. And then, you know, I mean, frankly, Shirou, like, I mean, he didn't outright say, like, he loves Tosaka, but I think it's pretty obvious to each other at this point, like, that they've fallen for each other. Right? I don't think there's any... I don't think there's any reservations about that. But they've both helped each other out a lot, right? Like, and I guess now they're calling it even, you know? Like, fresh start. I don't know what else to say on that specifically. It was a really nice scene, but brain is jumbled after scenes like that. I don't know what to say immediately sometimes. We're back at my place. I never thought I would make it back alive, so I relax once I get into the living room. Feel a bit dizzy and lean against the wall.
ほら見なさい。やっぱりまともに立ってられないじゃない、バカ。
Yeah. He needs, like, the fattest sleep of his life. She's right. But I think her last comment was unnecessary. How many times did she call me an idiot today? I bet she set a new record already.
ほら、こっちに来なさい。とりあえず包帯ぐらい変えないとまずいでしょ。
Yeah, that's fair. I nod and move by Tosaka.
この救急箱を使っていいんでしょ。さすが家に道場があるだけのことはあるわね。ハサミばかりか、針と糸が入ってる救急箱ってのも珍しいわ。って、ほら早く服を脱いで傷を見せなさいってば。
Yeah. You really got everything you might need for first aid. Needles and threads. I sometimes hate thinking about those when it comes to games, because Walking Dead Season 2, the game, the first episode. Oh man, there is a disgusting scene to me involving needle and thread. Ugh. One of the most uncomfortable, that's possibly the most uncomfortable a game has ever made me. Honestly. I can't really think of anything that's made me as uncomfortable as that scene. Just kind of thought about that again. Ugh. Nothing wrong with needles and threads in general, just that scene.
服脱ぐのか。いや、その前に手当てぐらい自分でできる。今朝だって自分でやったんだから問題ない。
Sheesh, cool it, Shirou. It ain't that deep. Better help you.
ね、何遠慮してるか知らないけど、そもそもその傷の手当てをしたのは誰だと思ってるの？
Facts.
けどあの時はその。
When I was asleep and not embarrassed. I was unconscious and I was only causing trouble for Tosaka at that time.
あの時もこの時もないの。いいから早くしなさい。シローの傷は特別なんだから、ちゃんと見ないと治るものも治らなくなるじゃない。
Yeah, and not do projection magic and stress our arms again. Maybe we should let it heal this time. How unfair. I can't complain if she tells me with a face like that.
それじゃ頼んだ。正直に言うと、さっきからやけに熱くなってる。
I give up and sit down. Seeing that the shirt is stained with blood, Tosaka gives up taking it off and starts cutting it right away. She then quickly but carefully takes off the bandages. Is it that bad? Tosaka gasps when she sees it. But I'm troubled as well. It's so embarrassing having her stare at my body so closely.
本当に無茶するんだから。せっかく治りかけてたのがまた開いてるわよ。
Yeah, he definitely pushed himself way too hard.
まったく。こんなの見せられたら怒るに怒れないじゃない。
I feel like that's all the more reason to get mad at him, but... She talks like that, but gently touches the wound. Crap, I'm getting dizzy for a different reason. I was able to stay calm even if she was near me, but my heart's beating fast now and I'm having trouble determining where to look. I criticize myself mentally, but it does no good. The temperature inside my head will keep increasing as long as we're like this. Because the dizziness isn't caused by my wound.
遠坂、もういいだろう。血止めをして可能止め塗って包帯を巻き直してくれればいいから。
そういうのは手当てって言わない。宣言撤回、やっぱり頭にきた。そんな気休めで外に出たわけね、あんたは。
Yeah. Maybe you're probably a little better off treating wounds than Shirou is, but she just slap us? But what was that for? Sokka just slapped me on my wound. What? What? Who does that?
何の恨みがあるんだお前。
恨みなら骨髄まで染み渡ってるっていうの。それでも手加減してあげたんだから感謝しなさい。
Who slaps a sword wound? What is wrong with you? Saying so, Tosaka takes out something that looks like ointment.
今の痛かったでしょ。とりあえず壊死してる神経を治したからしばらくは痛むわよ。これには痛み止めも含まれてるけど、もともと破損した肉の代わりだから。馴染むまでは痛むけど、痛みがあるうちは無茶しちゃダメだからね。
Yeah, let's hope, right? She takes the jelly-like substance and applies it to my wound. It looks really suspicious, but I stay quiet since I know Tosaka is seriously treating my wound.
はい、これで終わり。あとは包帯を巻いてぐっすり寝れば、明日には幾分楽になってるはずよ。
She skillfully wraps the bandages around the wound. I'm not praising her or anything, but she does a much better job than I do.
サンキュー、遠坂。なんか楽になった。
I thank her while averting my gaze.
まあ、それならいいけど、楽になったって言うんなら見た甲斐があったわ。
ああ、治らないものと覚悟してたから余計助かった。ともかく手当てをしてくれてありがとう。
Yeah, bro was just content with losing an arm.
そんなの当たり前でしょ。私が見る以上はしっかり治してみせるんだから。
Finishing the treatment, Tosaka gets up. Then, I don't know why, but she heads to the kitchen.
遠坂？
Am I seeing things? She's checking what's inside the refrigerator and the rice cooker.
おい、何をするつもりなんだ。
I probably need to eat.
夕ご飯の支度。シロ食べてないでしょ。私も食べてないのよ。だからとりあえず夕食。
ああ、それは見ればわかる。けど、どうしてこの状況で夕飯なんだ？
What is your plan to get food? If not for that, I don't think DoorDash exactly existed back then. when this would be taking place. That'd be convenient though.
なんでって当然じゃない。人間空腹でまともな案が浮かぶわけないでしょ。
Tosaka speaks while staring inside the refrigerator. The sound of our utensils echoes inside the room. It's past 10 o'clock. I don't know how it ended up like this, but Tosaka and I are eating a late dinner together. By the way, the dinner was made by both of us. Tosaka wanted to eat Japanese food, but she didn't even know how to make miso soup. It really makes me wonder what they're teaching in the cooking class at school. Tosaka's concentrating on her meal. She must be hungry, as her plate is almost empty. I don't have much of an appetite right now. Partly because this isn't the time to be eating, but more so because I haven't replied to Tosaka.
シロはここで降りなさい。
I haven't told her my reply to those words.
遠坂、話がある。
I put my chopsticks down and stare at Tosaka.
何？
あれから考えたんだ。俺がこの戦いを始めた理由を。一体何がしたかったのかってことを。
それで？
She can't be bothered. She's still munching down. She urges me to go on as she sips on the miso soup. She's putting my spirit down, but I try to get myself together.
初めは巻き込まれたからだった。そしてマスターになった以上はこの戦いをどうにかしたかった。けどマスターになったとか巻き込まれたとか そんなのは関係がない。俺は正義の味方が好きなんだ。だからみんなを守らないと。マスターなんてどうでもいい。マスターで亡くなっても、セイバーがいなくなっても、戦うことには変わりはない。
That's gotta sound ridiculous to Tosaka. I say so, ready for Tosaka's rebuttal. But,
そう。
wow, that caught me slipping, honestly. She makes an absent-minded response and finishes her rice.
あのな、遠坂。人が真面目に話してるんだから、ちゃんと。
聞いてるわよ。シローは一人でも戦うのよね。死ぬような目に遭うより、死ぬような目に遭ってしまう人がいるっていう事実が耐えられない。
Yeah, that's pretty much a perfect read on him.
だから、どんなに自分が弱くても戦うことに決めたんでしょ。
She looks straight at me. It's as if she sees through the part of me that I don't even know about. And most of all, she approves that I am fighting.
そうだけど。
何よその顔。リスが砂糖菓子舐めたような顔して。
What kind of analogy is that?
いや、だって、遠坂は反対するかと思ってた。
してるわよ、もちろん。けど、あれだけ見事に助けられたんだから、シローに文句なんて言えないでしょ。
Fair enough, I guess.
それにさ、どんなに止めたって、あんたはそういうやつなんだって分かっちゃったし。
Yeah. Probably learned that one the hard way when you showed up on a skyscraper. Right, or not skyscraper, on the top of that massive building. Right? Like, while wounded. After losing Saber. To try to keep fighting. She's like, yeah, no, nothing's gonna stop you. Osaka averts her gaze a bit. I don't know why, but...
じゃあ、遠坂、これからも協力体制ってことでいいんだな。
まあね、仕方ないから付き合ってあげる。だいたいあんたみたいなのを一人にしてたら不安で眠れないし、それに。
She takes a huge breath after getting ready for some reason.
シロー風に言えば、私もシローのこと嫌いじゃないし。
To put it in your words, I don't hate you, Shiro.
私はそういうわけだし、そっちだって一緒にいても問題ないでしょ、実際。
I mean, I'm cool with it, but... She hands me the bowl. How long did it take me to realize that she's asking for seconds?
ああ、もちろん。遠坂がどんなに横暴でも望むところだ。
I take the bowl, fill it from the rice cooker, and hand it back to her.
いいけど、お腹減ってるし、ご飯美味しいし。
What the heck? She's just gonna take that, just because she's hungry. Osaka starts eating the heap of rice. I smile, but I'm smiling as I eat. But I can't help it. I'm so happy right now. Just let me smile like a fool for a while. Happy life. I guess. Well, now we're drinking tea after dinner.
つまり東映には東映なりの限度ってものがあるわけ。一見イメージを形にするっていう何でもありに見えるけど、東映にはいろいろと独自のルールがある。その制約の中で一番わかりやすいのは東映物の損傷、存在における強度ってやつよ。
Tosaka puts up a finger as she drinks her tea.
存在における強度。何？幻想なるものの存在に耐えられない軽さってやつ？
I sip the tea and tilt my head in wonder.
何も知らないようでいてつまんない言葉知ってるのね、あなた。けどまあ、当たらずとも遠からずかな。
Hey, he's close.
東映は自己のイメージからそれに沿った本物を完璧に複製する。これに例外はないわ。自分の中で完璧でなければ投影はできない。新作の影である以上、一部の隙も許されないのが投影魔術よ。だから基本的に投影によって生み出されたものは自己のイメージ通りの強度を持つわ。加えて投影する術者のイメージ、 知識が本物に近ければ近いほど現実においても完璧になるわけ。
Just gotta envision it better, basically.
ちょっと待った。それはおかしい。俺、アーチャーの剣を投影しただろ。けど、それはクズキに壊された。いくらクズキの拳にキャスターの強化がかかってるからって、宝具を壊せるほどじゃない。ってことは、俺が投影したアーチャーの干渉と爆矢は、オリジナルに数段劣るってことじゃないのか。
はい、いいところに気がつきました、エミヤ君。それが投影の限界。存在における強度ってやつよ。いい？投影はあくまで投影、想像じゃない。投影を作り上げるのは術者のイメージだけだから、イメージそのものにほころびが生じた時、本物と同じ性能であろうと無産するの。
イメージにほころびが生じる？それも変じゃないか。イメージが間違っていたらそもそも投影はできないんだろ？
Seems like you can, just won't be as good as the true object.
ええ、だからほころびが生じるのは投影した後になるわ。
Okay, no, never mind. I'm done.
そうね。例えばシローが絶対に折れない名剣を投影したとするでしょ。
I nod. Hosaka nods in satisfaction.
けど絶対に折れない剣なんてものはない。その剣の表現方法、伝承、売り文句などに絶対に折れないというパーソナリティがあるだけで、実際はそれを上回る幻想にぶつかれば刃こぼれぐらいするし、折れることだってある。
Right.
それ、折れた時点で俺のイメージが間違っていたってことにならないか。俺は折れない剣を作ったんだから。
ならない。投影が成功した時点で形の上での間違いはないんだし、そもそも折れない剣なんて名前みたいなものでしょ。
I mean, true.
実際に折れない剣なんてないんだから。けどシロ、あなたがイメージしたものは絶対に折れない剣よね。これが現実で折れちゃった場合、投影されたものは嘘になるのよ。
Okay.
それは剣が折れたからじゃないわ。あなたがイメージしたものは折れない剣。それが折れてしまった時点でシロの中の折れない剣と今折れてしまった剣は別物になる。あなたと現実、その計りが崩れてしまうから。
Okay, I think that makes sense. So, if I sum it up,
よし。つまり、俺は折れない剣を想像して投影した。けど、実際に投影した剣は戦闘中に折れてしまった。その時点で、俺自身がその剣を、なんだよ、実際は折れちまうじゃないか、この剣と否定してしまって、結果として投影したものは消えるってことか。
that seems about right to me.
そのイメージの齟齬によって。
冴えてるじゃない。ええ、つまりはそういうこと。あなたはアーチャーの剣を投影した。あなたの中であれがどんな位置づけだったかは知らないけど、シロ自身はクズキの攻撃で壊れるような剣をイメージしてはいなかった。
Definitely not.
けど実際に剣は破壊されてしまった。その時点であなたはその剣をこんなのはアーチャーの剣じゃないと思ってしまったのよ。
And then they disappeared.
で、作り上げられた投影は術者の否定によって存在強度を失い、元の空想に戻ったってわけ。
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Okay. I see. Even projected weapons can break. But it's not the enemy, but you, who make them disappear from this world. When the difference between the reality and the image becomes too large to be reconciled, the projected weapon disappears. It is because the one who projected the weapon stops believing in the image.
わかった？だから投影魔術はまず設計図から入るの。あとは材質と性質、歴史なんかも考慮すべきね。そのあたりから固めていけば、多少現実でイメージと違ってもすぐに消えるなんてことはないでしょ。
それならなぜそれを作る気になったのかってのが最初じゃないか。材料と技法だけじゃダメだ。今日の夕飯だってまず遠坂が和風が食べたいって言ったから始まっただろ。なら創作する上での発端から始めないと。
Tosaka's stunned. Tosaka stares at me. I drink tea and tilt my head in wonder.
まあ、なんでこんな話になったんだっけ?
So, is there like something dreadfully wrong in our statement, or had she just never considered that possibility? Right, that you would start that early, like with its conception.
そういえばそうよね。私たち確か今後の作戦を話し合ってたような。
Got a little off course then. Oh yeah, we were talking about what our course of action should be.
シロ、本格的に投影魔術をやってみない？
When Tosaka derailed the conversation.
思い出した。不確定な要素に希望を持っちゃうぐらい行き詰まってたんだっけ。
Yeah, I mean, you guys are kind of at a loss right now, I'd imagine. Probably have no clue what to do right now.
もう第一、俺の投影なんて剣を作れる程度だ。それも今まで役に立ったことなんてないんだから大した戦力にならないだろう。
Believe me, it is. Just need to get better at it. Oh, she's looking at me with those eyes again. I wonder why. She always makes that face when we talk about projection magic.
まあいいわ。もう一度状況を確認しましょう。
And even though, like, you haven't exactly perfectly made Archer's swords, like, you've still managed to stop Kazuki twice with them. So, I feel like that's something to be proud of.
目下のところ、敵はキャスター。あいつだけなら大したことはないけど、白兵戦に長けたマスターと、あっち側についたアーチャーに守られている限り手は出せないわ。
And Saber.
加えて、セイバーが操られるのも時間の問題。状況は刻一刻と悪くなっていくわけだけど。
Yeah.
ああ、けどアーチャーはともかくセイバーはまだキャスターの自由にはなっていない。
Not yet, but I imagine it won't be long.
それが正気といえば正気だろう。セイバーが完全にキャスターの軍門に下ったら、そ
Yeah,
れこ
more
そ
or less.
俺たちに勝ち目はない。
Gonna somehow have to snag her back. I can't let that happen. She told me to run. She told me as she cried. So for Saber's sake, I can't let Caster do as she wishes.
そういうことね。それじゃあ意見のある人は挙手。シロ、なんかいいアイデアある？
Probably not. An idea that will break the current deadlock. There's a way to oppose Caster. It is... Oh, jeez. Plans for the future. Fighting them head on is suicide. I don't know. I mean, a secret passage in the church, what, is the plan to take back Saber? Like, without them realizing what's going on? That seems bold, especially because Caster probably will have some kind of boundary field there. The truth is, we definitely can't. I don't think we can do this by ourselves, so maybe we do need to suggest cooperating with other masters. A secret passage in the church at least makes more sense than fighting them head on, but I don't think it really makes more sense than trying to cooperate with other masters. Because, really, like, we can, you know... I mean, if we can, like, get Emiya and, like, Shinji to help, right? And maybe we have some semblance of a chance of breaking this deadlock. Otherwise, we're all just going to get wiped. And then Caster just wins, so... And maybe I think we just go with this option. They aren't opponents that we can take on by ourselves. There are 3 enemies. And we'll need at least 1 more on our side. And there are limited possibilities. People who are magi and have a reason to fight against Caster. It'll be other masters.
トーサが怒らないで聞いてくれ。その他のマスターとは協力できないかな。
いいわ。その心は？口にするからには何か算段があるんでしょ？
いや、そういうわけじゃないんだが、今のキャスターの状態は他のマスターにとっても無視できないだろう。
No, not really.
なら今回だけってことで手を組めるかもしれないと思って。実は私も同じことを考えてた。
てっきり白を反対すると思ってたから黙ってたんだけどね。
Looks like we agree on that front. Maybe we'll find out that Shinji has Gilgamesh. She says so unenthusiastically. She must not like the idea, but she knows that it's the only option we have.
となると、残るマスターは2人。ランサーのマスターとバーサーカーのマスターね。ランサーのマスターは不明のままだから交渉のしようもないけど、バーサーカーのマスターであるイリアスフィールなら可能性はあるかもしれない。
Yeah, maybe, if we're lucky. Berserker's master. The white girl and the statue-like giant I met on the night when it all began. She sounded dangerous, but I don't think she's cruel. Oh no, she is cruel, but... yeah.
そうだな。
Probably our best bet still.
あの子なら話し合いに応じてくれそうだ。見返りに無茶な条件も出してきそうにないし。
バカ。シローにとっちゃあいつが一番ヤバいのよ。あいつ、初めっからシローしか見てなかったもの。私はともかく、あんたはどんな目に遭わされるか分かったもんじゃないわよ。
She will do some horrifying things to you. Based on just the bad endings that I've seen, I can safely say she will do horrifying things to you. She will trap you in a puppet for all eternity. It's a lot of fun. Still don't know for sure if the reason she's doing that is just because of a grudge against our family and Kiritsugu, or if it's like something other than that. For now, I have to assume it's Kiritsugu, right? But
なんだよそれ。俺はあの子と一度しか会ってないんだ。そんなことになるわけないだろう。脅かしっこはなしだぞ、お父さんが。
そんなことになったら交渉なんて破棄に決まってるじゃない。バカ。
then Tosaka averts her gaze and gulps down her tea.
けど、今はイリアスフィールにかけるしかないわね。キャスターの正体がアーチャーの言う通りなら、間違いなくバーサーカーは天敵だし。何しろ生前の知り合いだもの。キャスターの手口なんて知り尽くしてるでしょ。バーサーカーなら、キャスターとアーチャーが同時に攻めてきても追い返せる。私たちはその間にクズキ一人を攻略すればいい。
That's probably our best plan, but again, relies on Saber not being controlled at that point.
そりゃ理想論だけど。父さんか、キャスターはバーサーカーと関係があるのか？
ええ。アーチャーが言ってたのよ。バーサーカーの正体はヘラクレスだって。キャスターが本当にあの希代の魔女なら、アルゴーセンつながりでバーサーカーとは面識があるかもしれない。私が綺麗に苦手意識を持つのと同じ。世の中にはね、どうしたって苦手なやつっているもんなのよ。
And, Berserker's is caster, in this case. Okay. I'm sure everyone would dislike that priest.
じゃあ決まりだな。けど、どうやってあの子を見つけようか。あれ以来出てこないけど、あれだけの魔力を持ってるなら、隠れていようと見つけ出せるだろ。なのに見つからないってことは、この町にはいないってことじゃないのか。
She is, secluded. I think Tosaka might know where the mansion is, though.
でしょうね。イリアスフィールはずっと遠くから聖杯戦争を眺めて楽しんでるんでしょう。
Or she might know where the Elyseville estate is. Maybe not.
ずっと遠く？キャスターみたいに竜道寺から町を監視してるのか？
さあ、けどどこにいるかは見当がつく。
Did I say the Elyseville estate? I meant the Einsburn. I'm dumb. Please ignore me.
昔父さんから聞いたことがあるのよ。アインツベルンは郊外の森に別荘を持ってるって。
She says so with a tense voice. A villa inside the forest. Tosaka's expression tells me how dangerous the place is. Yeah, that's a dangerous mission, but... I mean, do we really have a better choice right now? I go back to my room and lie down. Drowsiness fills my body as soon as I do. I stare at the dark ceiling. We're going to Elyseville's hideout tomorrow. No matter what kind of negotiations take place, it's obvious that we'll need energy. Tosaka said we wouldn't get good results with tired bodies, so we decided to head out after we sleep.
夜明けまであと5時間。そうなったら、あの子と話し合いをしなくちゃならない。
The young master that appeared on the night I became a master. If Saber is a servant excellent in all aspects, Berserker is a servant specialized in battle. There's no servant that can match Berserker in simple combat.
そんな相手と、どう話し合えばいい？
Saying it makes me believe it's impossible to negotiate with them. But strangely, I don't feel any uneasiness. I think Gilead will understand us if we talk to her. Just like Tosaka, she'll classify enemy and ally as a magus, but I think she's a proper girl with all that aside.
まったく、まだ話したこともないくせに、
Yeah, that's
希
fair.
望的観測にも程がある。
That is kind of wishful thinking. I bet he would scorn me, saying that it's a convenient fantasy. What's wrong with believing? Is it wrong to have hope for something you haven't met yet? What was that? Oh, that was his teeth. I realized that I'm gritting my teeth. The man who told me to drown in my ideals and die betrayed Tosaka in front of me. The guy with that much trust and power switched his allegiance so easily.
Archer.
My mind darkens. No, it's freezing. My head cools down thinking about what he did. I'm angry. I can't forgive him for betraying Tosaka. I can't forgive the fact that he cast away his partner. I will swear here. Even if that may have been the very best action, even if it turns out that it was the right choice to survive, I will never do something like that. His actions have been getting on my nerves. He told me not to talk about ideals. I opposed him when he told me I cannot save everybody, but I agreed with his words somewhere inside of me. His words are correct. The superhero my father talked about is just a fantasy, and I accepted the fact that I would have to become like him to get as close to the ideal as possible. Not wanting to do so, I openly denied the idea even though I accepted it in my mind. But this isn't on such a level. I can't approve of him. I can't approve of his action no matter what the circumstances may be. I won't be able to keep standing if I approve of him.
だから、お前には負けられない。
My words do not disperse into the darkness, but stay in the room. A few hours until dawn. I keep repeating those words even in my sleep. Jeez. Man on a mission. I might wrap it up here. 212 bookmark. This is, I mean, it's a pretty easy, or not pretty easy place. A pretty good place to wrap it up, even if this is a shorter episode than the last few have been. I think with my break, I probably didn't even break 2 hours, honestly. But I don't know how long the next section will take. So I don't want this video to get like way too long. I think this is just a pretty good stopping point. We'll just left click. There's an interlude. We'll get through the interlude. We'll get through the interlude at least. She is alone with her thoughts in the darkness. It has been a day since she attacked the church and killed the priest. It has been a day since she declared that she can find it, no matter where it may be hidden, if it exists. It may not be the case for other servants, but there's no way someone versed in magic like her would not be able to find a relic as holy as the Holy Grail. And there is only one answer. The Holy Grail was never hidden in this church to begin with. She sighs and puts her finger on her temple. When she closes her eyes, heavy darkness assails her body. No, it is just a scream. It is not coming from outside. The scream comes from her body and mind, telling her that fatigue is at the limit. Telling her that her fatigue, excuse me. It has been a month since she was summoned. Since then, she has done her best to win. Her master is an ordinary person without a magic circuit, and she is the weakest of the servants. To make up for that, she abused forbidden magic. Collection from the people, the magical strings she placed throughout the town, and the control of the ley line using sacrifices. These are all the reasons why she was called a witch during her life. She has never used them before. She should have never used them, and she did not intend to do the forbidden. So, why did she end up using them for a meaningless conflict like this? That's a good question. She became a heroic spirit to take revenge. She also knows it is meaningless to use the skills that labeled her a witch. She only uses trivial magic. she only created disasters that caused people to destroy themselves with their own greed. That was all the revenge she could manage, so it caused her to stray from her path so much.
すべては聖杯のため。あらゆる望みを叶える聖杯なのだから、気が違うのは当然です。
Man, are you in for a rough time when you realize what that thing really is? That is a lie. She knows the true identity of the Holy Grail. Oh, never mind. She already knows what the thing is and why servants like her are summoned. It is true that most wishes can be granted using the Holy Grail that appears in this town. It will allow her to stay in this world with physical form, and when it will allow her to start a second life as a human. But
そんなことに何の意味があるというの。
saying so, she closes her eyes. Oh, not done. She empties her mind. For now, she lets her guard down and rests her mind. She hears the sound of rain. It was a night without moonlight. The surroundings were pitch black, and she wandered with an empty mind. That is where she met him. With blood-stained body and frozen limbs. A chanced meeting that was more miraculous than any miracle. It was the mountain where the Ryudo temple is located. Falling rain. She was stumbling aimlessly through the dense forest. She left behind a trail of blood. In her hand was a dagger that breaks all contracts. Her purple robe was wet with rain, and her limbs had turned white from the winter cold. She staggered around, holding on to the trees for support. She walked on, dirtied with mud, her breath ragged, reaching out her hand as if begging for help. She did not look like her usual self, filled with cool composure. No, even the amount of magical energy was unlike her. She was exhausted. She only had a handful of power left. For a servant, magical energy is like a lifeline that allows them to stay in this world. That was all lost. No magical energy was coming from her master. But that was only natural. She had just killed her own master. That was the cause of her exhaustion. She, servant Castor, was about to disappear alone as compensation for obtaining freedom. A dry laugh. It is funny that her body was not able to maintain itself, and that she betrayed her vulgar master. Moreover, it's quite amusing to see how badly she had underestimated the relationship between servant and master. She had done well. Her master was a legitimate magus. He was in his 30s, had a medium build, and had a few noteworthy characteristics. He had no will to fight, but dreamed of victory. He was a man that only waited for the other masters to kill each other. The man had not trusted Castor. He treated Castor coldly as she was a superior magus, and he insulted her for being inferior to the other servants. She gave up on him after a few days. She acted as an obedient servant and filled the man's conceit. In short, she made him use his command spells for meaningless things. She told him that he did not need the command spells. She made him believe that she would be faithful to her master even without the command spell. It was his fault for believing in her. The master used his third command spell for a meaningless thing, and was killed by Castor at that moment. It was easy. She did not like the fact that the contract with him still existed, so she killed him using the rule breaker. But she had made a mistake. Servants exist using the oh my goodness, I can't read today. Servants exist using the supply of magical energy provided by their masters, but not just magical energy. Servants are only allowed to exist in this age by being connected with people of this age. In other words, to lose one's master, the passport to this age, means being forced to return to the outside world. But she would not normally be this exhausted. This was the curse her master had left her. Her master did not approve of her, as she was a better magus than he was. Therefore, he limited her magical energy to be always below his level. Wow, that's petty. The magical energy level of a mere human cannot keep a servant in this world. She would normally be able to stay in this world for 2 days after losing her master. But now was different. Her magical energy was drastically decreasing with every second, and the end was near. Probably a few more minutes. She would disappear if she could not find her next master in that time. She would disappear before she could fight, unable to do anything. She would be a pitiful servant, summoned only to be trampled upon. It was vexing. It was vexing, but it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. It had always been like this for her. She was treated unreasonably like this all the time. She was always used as a tool. She was never understood by anyone. Dang. Castor has like a legit backstory. Which isn't that surprising, but very well. It makes sense. I didn't expect it to be this in depth. Yes. Her life was always controlled by someone else. Her mind was destroyed at a young age to save a hero chosen by the gods. Just for the sake of a hero the goddess of beauty happened to favor, the goddess cursed her to blindly love a man she had never seen. The girl betrayed her father. She was even forced to betray her own country. There's no memory after that. After everything was over, the girl, who was a princess, was in an unfamiliar country. The girl that betrayed her father, the king, for a man. A witch that cut apart her own brother and threw the pieces into the sea to escape her native country. And the man who wanted it done cast her aside in order to become king, saying he could not marry a witch. She was controlled and taken to an unknown country, was marked as a witch, and the only person she could rely on threw her away. That is her origin. There's nothing people can blame her for, and people around her were aware of that. But still, people continued to demand for her to be a witch, an evil to protect the king, an evil to be on the receiving end of evil superstitions. People wanted a convenient scapegoat that they could blame for any disaster. This pattern has never changed. People demand easily understandable evil to reassure themselves of their own goodness. In that regard, she was the perfect sacrifice. The father she could rely on was in a distant country. Nobody defended her, and people gladly blamed her for all the ugly things in their world. They decided that every ugliness was the witch's doing, that they are poor, that they hate others, that humans are ugly, and even that people die. So she merely accepted it. Since she could only live as a witch, she decided to live like a witch. She swore to show them the ugliness of the wishes they demanded of her. If people do not know their ugliness, so be it. They can stay ignorant, go to hell for their own crimes, and suffer forever. They won't be able to get out of hell. They will suffer forever as criminals because they do not know what crimes they have committed. That is the reason for existence she imposed on herself. That is the only role people gave to that girl, the one called the witch, who never had a free will. But nobody actually wished for such a thing. The same goes for her as well. She seeks revenge against her will, without having any wish for herself. Yes, until she met up with this stranger. A rustling sound. She peered ahead, even though she was barely able to stand. It's midnight. Who could possibly come into this forest at this time?
そこで何をしている?
It was a heavy voice. She did not have the composure to check who it was. She just thought it was all over. She had no power to use magic. Her purple robe might have looked like a coat. She was covered in blood. A woman covered in blood was hiding in the rain. It is obvious what such a person did. Anyone would run away first. What would they do after that? Would either call the police or pretend they hadn't seen it. It did not matter to her. She could no longer move. That caused the last of her spirit to give out. Her last moment was cold and lonely, just as it was at the end of her true lifetime. Or so she thought. This is actually really interesting. When she regained consciousness, she was in that place. In front of her is that man. The man who she met in the woods.
起きたか? 事情は話せるか?
Those were his first words. When she watched the man with blank amazement.
迷惑だったのなら帰るがいい. 忘れろと言うなら忘れよう.
I can get why she got so upset when people assumed that she controlled Kazuki. I mean, assuming she doesn't. I'm going to assume that she doesn't. And instead, like, we'll just see. We'll just see. I'll explain what I mean later. The tone of his voice never changed. That was her first encounter with her Master, Kazuki Soichiro. Kazuki was a strange man. Should he be called a ghost? He had no reason to live, but had no reason to die. He was just there, and since he existed, he followed whatever whim took him. He has no self. That was her first impression of him, and she thought it would be easy to turn him into a puppet. She grew to realize that that thought was a mistake. Kazuki Soichiro does not have a past. He has no self because he has no past, but it does not mean Kazuki Soichiro is empty. Kazuki was a sincere man. He easily accepted her when she told him that she wanted him to be her master, and when she told him about her true identity.
このような話を信じるのですか？
今のは嘘なのか？
He accepted it after she told him it was the truth. And the most amazing part was the night they met. She was about to disappear. She told Kazuki to lay with her. After making a difficult expression, let me ask, do you want it rough or gentle? After that, he made love to her without waiting for her reply. To put it his way, he had sex before the Buddha. It seemed rough like Asura, but it also seemed gentle like Bodhisattva. Either way, the contract was completed. She obtained a new master, was able to stay in this world, and returned to her role of being a witch. Excuse me. She still considers it to be a miracle. She would have disappeared before she woke up if she wasn't taken to the Ryudo Temple. The Ryudo Temple is a demonic place for servants, but it is a perfect summoning place once inside. As the Ryudo Temple is surrounded by a boundary field, it is suited for keeping anything inhuman. She was able to remain without disappearing because she was brought to the Ryudo Temple. Had it been any place else, she would have vanished after being taken there. As a result, she obtained the best ley line and the best protection. She easily occupied the Ryudo Temple, figured out the mechanism of the Holy Grail, and summoned Assassin as the fifth servant. But such things are trivial matters. She was certainly lucky on that night. Many miracles saved her. She is now on the verge of victory. But they do not deserve thanks. She would have been fine with it even if those miracles had not occurred. There's only one important fact. A very small matter that is trivial for anyone else. For her, the fact that she was able to meet Kazuki Soichiro is a miracle beyond belief. Interesting. It's not going well. No, she feels that everything she does is not going well. Her master will not be delighted with what she did. He has never had an interest in the Holy Grail. She would do her best to grant any wish of his, but Kazuki Soichiro has none. A one-sided relationship. They do not get along well. It is not going well at all.
ミイラ取りがミイラになったか。希代の魔女というのも案外脆いものだな。
She turns to the intruder. It is not her master that is standing there. It is the knight in red, Archer, with his true identity still unknown.
アーチャー、あなたには外の見張りを任せたはずですが。
ああ、それがな、ざっと見たところ、周囲に敵という敵がいない。
What a guy.
退屈を持て余してね。
Okay.
中の様子を見に来たのだ。
それはそうでしょうね。私たちの敵はバーサーカーだけよ。それもセイバーさえ陥落すればこちらから撃って出るだけ。あなたが私たちに寝返った時点でもう敵なんていないのよ。あなたもそれが分かっていたからこそこちらに着いたのではなくて。
さてどうかな。私はあのマスターと契約を切りたかっただけとは思わないか。あのマスター以外なら契約者は誰でもよかったと。
Jeez, man, that's even more cold. Is it? Is that more cold? I don't know what would be worse, actually. There's some truth in Archer's words. What does it mean? Archer had no intention of betraying, but betrayed his master only because he wanted to break his contract with Tosaka Rin.
そう。小娘のおもりはごめんということ。確かに私たちサーバントは総じてマスターに不満を持つわ。あなたが愛想を尽かすのも当然でしょうね。
いや、召喚者として彼女は完璧だった。ただ、少しばかり狂いが生じただけだ。それとキャスター、一つ忠告しよう。あらゆるサーバントが君と同じだとは思わないことだ。少なくとも、セイバーとバーサーカーは、主に不満を抱いてはいなかった。正しい英雄というものはね、正しい人間にしか刺激できないものなんだ。
Sheesh.
何を今さら。ねじ曲がったマスターだからこそねじ曲がった英霊を呼ぶ。そのようなことあなたに言われるまでもないわ。
Is right. Servants are determined by their summoners. Summoners with dark shadows in their mind cannot summon heroic spirits who are on the light side. In that regard, she and Ryder are not heroic spirits. A twisted master calls for twisted heroic spirits. As Ryder was one that was beautiful, she was also one that was pure. It is ironic how the servant caster summoned is a fictional hero.
しかし、考えてみればおかしな話だな。君やライダーは英霊に敵対するものだろう。にもかかわらず、サーバントとして選ばれている。まあ、聖杯には善悪の区別はない。力のある人間霊なら、誰であろうと組み上げるということか。
いいえ、本来そんな英霊としての側面もあるものなんて混ざり物は選ばれない。
Why now then?
この戦いがおかしくなったのは3度目からよ。それまでは私やライダーのような英霊は呼ばれなかった。
Happened in the third war. That does not concern her now. She's not concerned about the true identity of the Holy Grail. Servant Caster's mission is to win this war. She's not interested in what comes after. No, to be honest, that is not the end she wishes for.
無駄話はここまでよ、アーチャー。持ち場に戻りなさい。あなたが何を考えているかはどうでもいいわ。あなたはすでに私のサーバント。その命は私の手の中にある。それを肝に銘じて口を聞きなさい。
了解した。では、従順なサーバントらしく、主の期待に応えるとしよう。
The knight in red goes up the stairs. Seeing him off silently, Castor lets out a long sigh. One more day until Saber surrenders. She does not have the Holy Grail yet, but she will approach the end once Saber falls. What will happen when the war ends? Castor will make every wish come true with her powers. It is not bad to live as a witch, like she swore before dying. But the reason will go away once the war ends. Even if she still has the will, her master will lose the reason to stay as her master.
あと少しで聖杯はこの手に収まる。
Castor gracefully reaches out into empty space. Her hard work is about to be rewarded, but her expression is like that of a criminal about to be executed. Interesting. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Well, we can't end here. We get her true name? Yeah, end her story. Okay, we will read this after this. I saw many corpses. I died at that time and was reborn. I do not have any regrets. My eyes lost hatred there. My hands lost anger there. My legs lost hope there. Myself lost itself there. Everything went away. It is not because I gave up that I believed nothing would save me. I just found out that it's natural. It's just that dying people will die and survivors will survive. I laid down on the rubble and stared at the burning field. I understood everything then. I thought I understood everything. But I still considered it. How wonderful it would be if I was able to save everything here. That's what I admired. I just wished nobody would have to suffer. That's why I tried to become a superhero. It was simple, and it seemed like an ideal existence. That was why I aimed for it. I knew where I had to be, but there were many ways to get there. I kept on running, wanting to get as close to it as possible, even though I did not know what was right or wrong. Many paths I took were crooked, and my destination was only getting farther away. I'm taking the long way. I've been repeating this for 10 years since I got saved by Kiritsugu, but I won't regret it. I'm not as skillful as Tosaka. I will take the wrong path and lose a lot of things at times, but I cannot discard them as meaningless. I have to present meanings for everything I've trampled upon and everything that cannot be returned. So I cannot lose. Can't be helped if I lose against someone else, but I can win against myself. I can always fight back against my mind that tells me to give up. That's all I swore upon. There's only one thing that I believed in and wanted to believe in. That's right. Even if I'm walking down the wrong path, I will not regret believing in it. That is a dangerous mindset. Okay. So before anything else, I want to read Caster's backstory. Oh, I guess we... Let's talk about the dream scene. I mean, pretty good scene. We kind of... A lot of this we kind of knew. And, you know, even then he was considering being able to save everything. You know, These last few lines really show his mental determination that he may lose to others, but he'll never lose against himself. Like, he'll never lose to lose his ideals, you know. He'll never lose because he didn't fight. And his mentality is obviously whether his path is right or wrong, right? He's not going to regret that he went down that path, that he believed in that path, you know? Is frankly a very dangerous mentality. That's how you get villains, but I don't think they're going to do that with Shirou. I really hope not, at least. Oh god, imagine if Shirou became a villain in another route. That would be absurd. Sheesh. Okay, well, let's read caster stuff. Skills, Golden Fleece. X, very valuable. It said it can summon dragons, but since caster does not have the ability to summon phantom beasts, it cannot be used. Oh, nice. Noble Phantasm C? Man, no. That's way higher than a C. Our Noble Phantasm is OP as hell. Okay, I'm gonna read off the story of Emiya. Because honestly, I don't really remember this story. An unfortunate princess, labeled as a witch in Greek mythology, Jason, a hero famous from the Argo expedition, argued with King Pelias, the usurper of his father's country. He managed to make the king promise to return the country to him if he went far east to Colchis and returned with the Golden Fleece. Now, okay, I do remember this actually, vaguely. The princess of Colchis that possessed the Golden Fleece was Emiya. King Aetes of Colchis excelled in magic. As his daughter, she also practiced magic, but her personality was far from what you might call a witch. Her fate was confounded after the hero Jason appeared. When the goddess Aphrodite, who supported Jason, realized that the king of Colchis was unshakable, she controlled his daughter Emiya's mind and made her blindly love Jason. As a result, Emiya betrayed her father and her country for a foreigner called Jason whom she had never seen before. Emiya nullified her father's magic, and even the enchanted fire-breathing oxen, and allowed Jason to obtain the Golden Fleece. Of course, the king of Colchis was infuriated, and personally led his army to capture Jason before he left the country. To assist Jason's escape, Emiya was once again used by the goddess. Emiya boarded the Argo, which belonged to the man she loved yet only knew by name, and sliced her brother Apsyrtus into pieces right before the eyes of her pursuing father. The king was overcome by grief and ordered for the collection of the pieces of his dead son. Seizing that opportunity, the Argo escaped its pursuers, and Jason safely returned to his native land of Iolcus. Returning to his native land, Jason asked for the return of the country as promised, but King Pelias refused and formed a plot to kill him. Jason relied on Media's magic 3 times to escape the danger, and Media came up with a plan for Jason. He invited King Pelias to visit and killed his servant in front of him. After reviving him with her magic, Media offered to cast this spell of immortality on the king as well. The king was overjoyed and gave his body to Media. Of course, his dead body was left in pieces and thrown into the sea. Thus Jason became a king, but his fellow Argonauts did not approve of his conduct. Most of all, they disapproved of Media's existence. She had betrayed her country for a man, killed her brother to save herself, and now taken the throne by deceit. Media was denounced as a witch and chased out of the country together with Jason. Jason and Media arrived at Corinth, where they were welcomed by the king. Media finally found peaceful rest in this land. This peace, finally obtained after her abduction and denouncement, did not last long. The king of Corinth took a liking to Jason and decided to have his daughter marry him. Jason also chose the young daughter, and Media was exiled. Her actions after that were indeed those of a witch. Media appeared at Jason's wedding and used her magic to burn all who attended, including the king of Corinth and his daughter. Jason was the only one left alive. Her fate after she left Corinth is unknown. As her life was filled only with betrayal, it is said that the princess became a true witch and continued to roam the Greek lands. Dang. I gotta be honest, I did not know that story. Sheesh. Wow. That's brutal. While we're here, I want to talk about it. Castor's whole backstory was surprisingly tragic. I guess villains can have tragic backstories too, obviously. But it doesn't necessarily make me, suddenly a fan of Castor, right? Like, I don't... Or, well, she's an interesting character. I will definitely say she's an interesting character, right? So I guess that means I am kind of a fan of Castor. I don't, approve of her actions. I don't think she's some, good character who's just misunderstood. She's doing... She's done some pretty evil things, right? Like she said, how she is draining the town for magical energy, right? I feel like that's pretty non-debatably evil. You could argue that her trying to get everybody and summon the Holy Grail isn't really that evil. So I can't really get too mad at her for that, but she's definitely not some pure figure who's just playing by the rules. She is an interesting character though, I'll give her that. I do enjoy Castor, and I really liked the scene we saw with her of her with her that night in the rain. She killed her former master and very luckily was able to get a new one by complete chance, really, and is now in the position that she is, except she still feels like things are going wrong for her, right? Her relationship with Kazuki is apparently not that good. Just interesting. She looks like she's in a position where she can't fail, except she clearly thinks the world's coming down around her, right? And in a lot of ways. Maybe her relationship with Kazuki is that important to her. Or she wants the Holy Grail that bad. Also, I just thought about this, but when it comes to things that Castor clearly did wrong, I completely forgot the whole Saber thing. Not taking Saber, because while that is wrong, that is kind of just the nature of the Holy Grail War, right? She has that ability, she's gonna take people. But the fact that she dressed her up in the white dress, wants to see her tainted, was relishing in her torture, now that is evil. But she is an interesting character. I really enjoy Castor so far. Anyways, let's talk more about the episode as a whole. So, we got some interesting scenes. Castor's army continues to grow. It is somehow getting even stronger. with the addition of Archer. Now the question that I'm still wondering, right, is did Archer truly betray Tosaka, right? Like, what were his true intentions? Was it just to get away from Tosaka, right? Was it just to win the Holy Grail War, or was it some ploy to save Tosaka? I don't know. Until we have more evidence that it was some ploy to save Tosaka, I can't really say that without it just being me giving him way too much credit, right? I can't really say that. But it is an interesting possibility, given how he didn't want to kill her, right? Or at the very least, even if he wasn't there to save Tosaka, he didn't necessarily like dislike her, didn't want her dead, right? I feel like that's probably the better take, that it isn't like going way too far to trust him. I mean, he straight up betrayed Tosaka, you know? Very interesting. This meeting with Ilya is going to have to go well, right? Or we're screwed, right? Without the help of Berserker, we don't have a chance, really. Yeah, because I think Castor seems convinced that Lancer is gone, right? And that she killed Kirei. And if Kirei's gone, that means obviously Lancer is gone as well. And that literally would leave Berserker and Gilgamesh to oppose Castor and her army, which that's not much of a. I mean, Berserker and Gilgamesh are among two of the three strongest servants, but I mean, they have Saber, who is easily top 3 as well, right, at full power, right, like with Castor. They have Archer, who is pretty strong. Castor, who isn't amazing by herself. She admitted she was the weakest servant. But I mean, the rule breaker, she gets close to one servant one time, right? With that thing, it's over. Although realistically, given that she's the one with all the servants, she would probably have to stay away from everyone else, and because if she gets ganked and dies, right, and all hell is breaking loose. All hell would break loose if everyone was freed from her servitude. But it's gonna be interesting to see where we go from here. I am really excited to continue playing the game. Hopefully I'll be on it soon, but I'm not wrapping up the episode here, so I don't know why I'm talking like I'm about to. I'm really excited to see what the plan with that is, but I gotta say, I want to talk about Tosaka and Shirou right at the end there. At this point, they're pretty much together, right? At the very least, they're still allied, and they've both clearly admitted that they like each other, right? They had the talk under the stars, where Shirou tried to bring Tosaka back to normal, and then now they've made it clear that they're even. They've both saved each other's lives, you know. The development between Shirou and Tosaka this episode was great. Anyways, I will probably actually end the episode now. So I thought this was a great episode. It arguably was as crazy as last episode. I'd say it was about the same quality. Another servant on Castor's army, more development of Shirou and Tosaka, and pretty similar to last episode in that regard. Although I will admit, losing Saber was more of a surprise than losing Archer. But yeah, we'll see where we go from here. I am super looking forward to it, so I hope you guys are looking forward to me resuming. We should hopefully be resuming soon. Every other day is my ideal schedule, but admittedly, I'm kind of behind on schoolwork right now, so I might have to go to every 3 days, keep it at every 3 for a while, until I catch up on schoolwork. Because obviously that comes first. But I want to keep playing Fate. I will keep playing Fate, so you don't need to worry about me being I'm behind on schoolwork and taking some super duper long break. That shouldn't happen. Anyways, that is all for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did. Next episode should be out soon, and I hope to see you guys there. Peace.